2, 1. Yo, what's up, everybody? We are live. Thank you to everybody who's in the chat room right now. We're going to get into it. We're going to talk about some stuff. We don't really know where it's going to go tonight. Stick with us. Chime in. You're watching YLTV.
Young lion, everywhere I look, they dying. Everywhere I look, they dying. Young lion, everywhere I look, they dying. Everywhere I look, they dying. Young lion, won't you get up and stop fighting? Everywhere I look, they're hiding. Young
Young lion. My voice is still not back. What's up, everybody? It's Tuesday night. We are live at True Sound Studios in Camden, New Jersey. I'm a little bit under the weather today, and Jake is too. He's not here tonight because he's still sick from this weekend. But we appreciate you guys that are tuned in right now. We want to say what's up to everybody in the chat. What's up, Ariana? We see you said hi already. I see Mike Jack in there. I see... I can't really see who else is in there, but there's some people watching right now. So if you are watching, please share, like, subscribe, all that good stuff. Give it a thumbs up. Put it in your feed. Just share the video real quick. Just hit the share button. Let it out there so other people can chime in and watch and see what's going on. We appreciate you guys very much. What we're doing is we're trying to just keep this podcast growing. This is a podcast about men that come together, and sometimes women as well. We've had some women on that we're trying to talk about real things, trying to get people thinking about life in a different way and not just going on, just falling in the traps of everyday hustle and bustle and getting your mind consumed with the wrong things. And then before you know it, you fall for all of these traps that we all can fall for. So we try to expose a lot of those things. We try to talk about what's really important in life. And it's all based around one of our songs, which is Young Lion, which is available right now on Spotify, iTunes, Amazon, all that good stuff. And it's based around a verse in Ezekiel. So, it's inspired by God. But we're back. So we appreciate you guys. Again, if you want to keep supporting the podcast, make sure you go to patreon.com/YoungLionTV and become a member. We're going to work on some different tiers where people can support and become members of the podcast. Also, you can go to Jatan.com, JUTAUN.com to get merch and get all of our music and support that way as well. But without further ado, let's get into the intros. You see him sitting right there. It's the half black, half Indian with the Spanish last name. Mr. James Garcia, a.k.a. Mr. Build Right himself, is here this evening.
What's up?
What's up?
Looking kind of dark there, bro. You been out in the sun?
I got bad lighting.
I think it's the lighting. Yeah.
Anybody got some skin bleaching cream for me?
Fair and handsome.
Fair and handsome.
Can we get some fair and handsome in here, please?
Moan will take the whole tub.
Yeah.
And he's rocking some gym gear.
Yeah, that's right.
Looking like your brother from another mother. You guys do kind of look related.
This is called $7.99 at Walmart right here.
Okay.
No shame in my game.
Yeah. But what's been going on, man? You good?
I'm good, man.
How was your Thanksgiving?
Good, man. Good. Kept it simple with the family. It's good.
That's cool.
Yeah, I haven't been here in a while, so.
But I know it's been a few weeks.
Excuse me, I've been watching. I blocked it, but now it's on.
Also, I want to say what's up to my Asian brother. We spent all weekend together on the road.
Always.
And we're back now.
We spend every minute together
I know,
after
right?
the show. We hang out and
Right.
take weird pictures of each other while the other band members sleep.
Yeah. Did you see any of those pictures that we posted?
No, I didn't see it.
Oh, you
I didn't see
gotta
it, but
see
I
it.
want to
There
hear
was
the food.
some hilarity.
I look forward to hearing about the food.
The food on the road?
Yeah.
Nothing
Terrible.
to talk about on this trip.
Terrible, bro.
But say what's up, Moan.
What up?
Simone Chang, a.k.a. Moon.
Moon. Some Ian.
And then last but not least, holding it down. There's a lot going on right now. She's trying to figure out. I
She looks
see
like
her
a mad
working
scientist.
intensely with 2 laptops and a whole mixing board, bunch of cameras. Miss Rachel Rota.
What's up?
How was your Thanksgiving, Rach?
It was good.
Oh man.
I was alone for most of it, but it was great. Like I had things to do. And I was like,
that sounds amazing.
yeah, I had my alone time.
Yeah.
The one thing I crave is just like alone time.
Yeah, right.
Peace and quiet.
Just like 8 hours of no one.
Right? No one's here.
Yeah.
It's great.
Right. So it was pretty lovely.
Cool.
Good. How was yours, Mo?
It was good. I did something different. Usually on Thanksgiving, I usually do all the cooking, but I would make a turkey, a brine or whatever like that, and then I also would make a pork shoulder. But
Yeah.
I eliminated the pork shoulder, and I did some braised short ribs.
Mm-hmm.
I was going to use red wine, but I saw a Guinness in the refrigerator and used a Guinness. That shit was banging.
braised in Guinness.
Yeah,
sounds good. And you didn't bring none for us.
None. Because there's none left.
And this is the only man that eats Thanksgiving dinner at 10 a.m.
Yeah. Every time.
I text him. I said,
Every year.
I text him.
They're
I said,
already
how's your
eating.
Thanksgiving? He's like, we eating right now.
Yeah.
I was like, it's 9:30.
Yeah.
We usually eat around
Thanksgiving breakfast.
Yeah,
That's what I said. I said,
Yeah.
you having Thanksgiving brunch?
we usually eat like around noon. Last year we ate at 11:30.
Yeah.
But
Y'all turning Thanksgiving into dim sum.
Right.
somebody said something to me. Are you going shopping? Is that why?
Because that's why a lot of people are doing that.
Yeah, a
now.
lot of people eat early.
Yeah, they're eating early to go shopping, which is another thing that's becoming a nightmare.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Opening on Thanksgiving, yeah. I was in the
I
retail
feel
world,
like
so I
that-
know this.
Yeah,
It's like taking the family part of Thanksgiving away.
it is.
You know what I mean? The reason why I do it is because
You
we'll
agree
have.
that you want to eat all day
We
long.
do. I do want to eat all day long. But
He wants to watch football.
football starts at 12:30, and
Yeah.
it's literally the only time that I really get to chill with my brother all day.
Right.
And
yeah.
we just drink and we watch football.
Your brother came through?
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah. Every Thanksgiving he's
Yeah,
there.
that's
And
the only time you see him.
I
Yeah.
see him because I can't get that dude out to
Yeah.
go anywhere. But that's part of the reason.
Yeah, that's cool. Yeah, Liz had to leave at 2:30 to be at work at 3:00 because they had to open at 5. People lined up to get TVs. You
Yeah.
know what I mean? Like
Crazy.
it's crazy to watch how like Black Friday has kind of spread from Black Friday to now it's
Wednesday night.
Yeah.
and stretches all the way into now it's Cyber Week.
It's Black,
right?
it's Black Friday week.
Yeah. It's even worse now because now Cyber Monday turned into Cyber Week. If
Right,
you look
right,
online,
right,
everything
right.
says, "Oh, get your deal on Cyber Week." I mean, eventually it's just gonna be all year long Black Friday. Like,
Yeah.
They should have a slogan. Do you want to fight over a parking spot and die for $50? Come out tonight.
right. Didn't a bunch of people? I saw some news stories where people like got attacked. Some people got into fights and stuff like that.
Man, I used to do. For years, I did loss prevention, and the store would intentionally put out an ad saying we have a sale on TVs or this or whatever. They had 5 back there.
Right,
This is
right.
when flat screens now started coming out and GPSs and
Right.
whatever. They didn't have enough.
So you got 400 people lined up. They all want the TV.
All want the TV.
And didn't you try? I remember you told me a story. You tried to like do some system where you handed out tickets.
Oh man, that didn't work.
Let me talk about that.
we they came up with a bright idea because we were
The
like, look,
bright idea
don't
of
you
these
think that
corporate stores.
Once we don't have the TVs, they're gonna freak out.
Yeah.
because that's what they're here for.
They're gonna want to fight. Yeah,
Well,
they
it's-
don't care. They just
yeah.
want them in the store.
Right.
Their mindset is get them in the store. They're gonna buy something.
Exactly,
Yeah.
and that's exactly what he said to the manager at the time. He said, "No, James, if we got them here, we could make more sales." It's like they're not here to buy others. They were here to buy that $50 TV
Right.
you promoting for
Right.
like 2 weeks.
Right.
And so they handed out these tickets like that was gonna solve it. Man, we opened that door. It was like a torrent of people.
Yeah.
I wasn't. I stood far back and I just let them rampage the store, and it was just like fights.
But you tried to like have a system where it's like, this is how many tickets we have for
Right.
the TVs. Who's here to get the TV? And you went down the line.
Yep.
But then people were arguing over that.
People
right?
arguing who was there.
Yeah, right,
People
right.
were giving they wanted their kid to get. He was like 2
Right.
years old with a ticket. This guy wants a TV.
I seen.
You sure?
I
No,
saw a
he
video.
told me he's getting a TV too.
He shit on himself, but
I
neither
saw
here
a
nor
video.
there.
A video with a mom who had a little 5-year-old boy or whatever like that had a box, and then this other lady just took the box out of the kid's hand.
Listen, a lady. Listen, I'll tell you this. This is how crazy it was. I'm standing there. I hand her a ticket, and she's like, "Can you give him one too?" I'm not even joking. It was a baby in a stroller,
Oh my gosh!
and got mad at me. I was like, "Ma'am, no." She's like, "But we were waiting in line."
That's like the Erica Thomas thing. Remember when she was talking about like, I only had 10 items. 5 of them was my daughter was paying
Yeah,
for.
exactly.
It's like,
Exactly.
everyone knows that trick.
yeah, cut it out.
Yeah, one per person. You give one to the 2-year-old, one to the
Man.
baby, one to the dog. The dog's got one on it strapped to his
Right.
collar, dragging across the floor. It's like, come on, stop.
Man, it was chaotic, man.
Yeah.
It was chaotic. It was probably one, and this was like the height of when that flat screen TV first came out. Everybody wanted it.
Yeah.
So, and it was like a cheap Sylvania brand. Nobody,
It's always the cheap brands.
you know.
And that's what I try to tell. I remember I fell for that one time, one year, one
Mm-hmm.
Black Friday, and I went out there to get a laptop for like $150, and it turned out that they had like these bullshit e-machine, you know, like these mass-produced ones that I don't even think they exist anymore. That company,
Right.
So everyone was lined up for these things, and I literally spent like an hour in that line waiting for them to open. Went in there and looked at it and was like, I don't even want this. This is a piece of shit.
Yeah,
and then you know, we had remember we got those e-machines in the for the all the offices on the second floor.
Shit.
Back when we were doing all the marketing.
The terrible
those were all
desktops.
Those were all even. How long did they last?
Not even a couple months, I think, right?
But you're thinking like, oh, we can get 5 computers for $150 each.
Yeah.
It's got the speakers with it. It's got it comes with the keyboard. It's got everything. We don't need nothing else. If it only lasts for 6 months,
Yeah.
you know what I mean? Then you got to buy something else anyway. It becomes a waste. But that's what they're selling on Black Friday.
Right.
That's what they're
and what people don't see is, aside from the ridiculousness of what's happening outside in those lines, it's the stressed out employees.
Right.
You know what I mean? Like little old ladies and people who, you know, they have to, like you said, leave their home to get there.
Right.
It's panic. You have to be up, you know, so you don't see that side of it. You know, you're not thinking, you know, but you're right. What you're buying is rarely worth what the sale is going to be anyway. You know what I mean?
But people make this whole day out of it now, where it's like, okay, we're going to eat early. I remember John was telling me that's what they were doing. He called me and he was getting ready to eat the same time you were eating.
Yeah.
I'm like, why y'all eating so early?
So it means you
I was eating at 1. I was eating at 1, so he was early.
Thanksgiving at 6 a.m.
Right, 6 a.m.
That's crazy, dude.
Right, so they can get it out it's like, get this shit out, get the family time out the way.
You know why? So I think it turns into, I think what it is people don't want to feel like they're missing out.
Right, that's what it is.
You know?
Missing the sale, the big sale.
You're missing out.
You're missing out. You can get a deal, man.
It turns into something.
And it's like, dude,
It's
those
material
those
things.
deals are never worth it, though.
No, they're
They're
not.
not.
Those deals
But
are never worth
People
it.
just feel, it's like, have you seen the thing on YouTube where the guy, he walks down the street, he's a normal guy,
Yeah.
and he comes back within like half an hour, but this time he has like 2 bodyguards, he's dressed up, and someone is taking pictures of him.
Yeah, I seen that.
And they react to it.
Right.
He's not even famous, but he just wants to prove that people just react to whatever. And people are running up to him taking pictures.
Yeah.
They're like, who's that? And so people would go up to them and ask, hey, do you know this guy? And they would make it up as they go along. Yeah, I saw his name.
What's his name? Israel, what's the name? The MMA fighter?
Yeah, Adesanya.
Yeah, he was talking about that too. He was talking about how, like, you know, when he would go places, people wouldn't really recognize him at first when he was fighting. But then, like, he noticed that if he was doing a photo shoot somewhere, then all of a sudden everyone's like, well, who's that? Okay.
Right.
And then they're coming up saying they're a big fan. They want his autograph. They want to take pictures.
Right.
But they don't really know.
They don't know
nothing about him. You know what I mean? Yeah.
Make up a whole thing. But that's what it is. I think people just don't want to feel like they're missing out. So Black Friday, all of these things, just people really feel like they're going to miss out on the sale.
Miss out on it.
You know.
And everyone else is going to get something that I'm not going to get.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So it's like the whole point of Thanksgiving is to spend time with your family.
Right.
And like that just gets brushed under the rug.
Right.
It's like, okay, we did that. Now let's go wait.
Right, let's eat real quick. Screw you. I'm outta here.
Let's go get some shitty electronics that are marked up. You see that meme that I posted with the Braveheart meme?
Yeah.
Where it's like, you know, the shit's been the same price
Yeah.
all week.
Yep.
But then on Friday they mark it up $200 and slash the price back to what it was
Right.
originally
Same thing.
anyway.
Yeah.
And now you're like, I gotta have it. You know what I mean?
You've walked past this for 8 months.
Right.
It's the same thing.
It's the same shit.
Yeah, get out of
Same
here.
price.
Yeah, it just sucks that, you know, that's one of the, I love, like, not having a boss and working for myself is I'm not part of that. I'm
Right.
not, you know, because I saw it, man, and it really bleeds people.
Yeah.
You know, it's like you're miserable, you know?
Yeah, it does.
You know?
It doesn't make you happier.
Yeah. I remember I can't remember who it was, but somebody posted a picture of some lady, she was just sitting there, like, you could just tell she was exhausted.
Yeah.
She worked at Popeyes.
I saw that.
Right.
I saw that,
And
yeah.
they thought he was making fun. I can't remember who it was, man. But somebody thought that the person who tweeted the picture was just showing, like,
This is what you're doing.
this is what you're doing. This
Right.
lady's exhausted. She's been making 300 sandwiches, you know, every 2 seconds.
Right. So
or whatever it is.
so that y'all could do your Instagram
Yeah,
post.
so you can do your compare. Chick-fil-A tastes
Yeah.
like this. Pop.
Right. Yeah.
So he was just and they thought he was making fun of her, and he was like, "No, I'm showing you what you guys are creating.
Right.
This lady's like being worked to the bones."
Speaking of that, I had my first Popeye's chicken sandwich.
You can't say.
over
Me
the
too.
weekend. Well, we were in. This is the thing. We were in Florida.
Jamie said, "I would not, man. If I
No, I didn't say I would never try. I'm never going to get involved in the hype of it.
the
But
shenanigans."
but we were in Florida.
Oh, there she go right there.
That's the picture right
That's
there.
a picture of her
Yeah.
right there.
That's sad.
Right, and they mistook that to think that he's making, because that's how people are. They're like, "What are you making fun of her?" He's like,
Yeah.
"Making fun of her."
I'm trying to shed light on something.
Yeah, this lady's exhausted.
Right. So we were in Florida in Pompano Beach, which is like southern Florida, close to Fort Lauderdale.
Right.
There's a lot of West Indian people, by the way.
Yeah?
Dude, it is hilarious. Like,
Right. Is that James?
no, it's actually, dude. I was telling Liz that Haitians are like the Mexicans of South Florida. Right? Because they're working.
They're all the cleaning ladies.
They're like all the housekeepers. Like,
Right.
They're like all the cleaning people. They work
Right.
at all the places in the airport and stuff like that.
Right.
But their attitudes are terrible, bro.
Right.
No, the ladies that were housekeepers.
The housekeepers, they were
Right,
nice.
right.
They were
But the
nice.
people working in the airport,
Mm-hmm.
yo,
Yeah, what was the story? Yo, this dude went to go get a coffee.
just a coffee.
Yo, and he took forever.
It took like a half hour to get a coffee, bro. It took like a half, because first of all, they moving slow, right?
Right.
They moving slow
On purpose.
On purpose. They're understaffed because they don't want to hire no employees,
Right.
right? So there's 2 people working there trying to service this coffee place that does like sandwiches, muffins, typical coffee.
You must have
place.
really wanted some coffee.
Well, yeah, for one, but not only that, it was just like I didn't expect it to take that long. There was
Right.
only like 6 people in
So
front of me.
you already
in the line.
ordered it. They got your money.
No, so I was already in the line, and I'm
Right.
just like, all right. But then I'm watching how it's all operating,
Right.
and I'm like, maybe I should exit this line. It seems like this is going to.
And you can't commit.
But then, Jake calls, oh, yo, can you get me a banana muffin? And David calls, can you get me a chocolate chip muffin and a green tea? And I'm like, all right, now I'm stuck here.
Right.
So I'm just watching them like operate and like just be rude to people.
Yeah.
The way they're talking to people. I remember the one dude, he got his coffee. No, he ordered a coffee, and he was they give you the cup. This is one of the places where they give you the cup and you go to the thermos and you pump it and get your own coffee, which I was already like, I'm not getting that coffee. I don't know how long that's been sitting there.
Yeah.
So I got an espresso. But so he goes over there and he walks over and he's like, comes back, there's no more, you're out of coffee. There's no more coffee. She looks at him and she does the shtups. What's the shtups? Yeah. That's what they call it, shtups. It's really like, you know what I mean? So she literally does that.
Wow.
And then she, the other girl that she tells to get the coffee, to refill the coffee, she doesn't listen to her. She's doing her own thing. So then like she asked some random dude to come and put the coffee out there. Some random like other Haitian dude that she knew from the airport. He came in and put the coffee there. So a dude finally goes to get his coffee. Then he comes back. You're out of sugar. And she was like, does it look like I can leave the line to get you sugar? That's what she said to him.
Damn.
Yo, I was like, damn, bro.
right.
Like, yo, customer service at its finest.
Right.
Yo, so he just stood there like, and it's like an older white dude, and he's just like, oh.
Right.
And he turns around and he goes back and he's just waiting.
And then she said, later on tonight, why my country isn't progressing?
Yeah, right.
Tune in.
Right. America's a shithole. Yeah, but it was just funny.
No, listen, the curb. I'm sorry, you were going to tell your Popeye story.
Yeah. No, but that was a sidetrack from that. But yeah, there was a lot of West Indian people there. But so anyway, we are at the hotel and there's really nothing around there.
Mm-hmm.
So Freddie's like, oh, we're hungry. The whole band's hungry. Let's go get something to eat. So they're like, there's a Popeyes, there's a McDonald's. So we went to Popeyes.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm like, all right, well, I'm here. Let me
Right.
see what this chicken sandwich is all about.
Right.
And I tried it too.
Yeah. All right. Let me hear it.
It was good.
Yeah.
It wasn't like
It wasn't bad. It
nothing to
wasn't,
stab
it wasn't-
James over.
It's nothing. It was. That's how you about that? That was a fake story? That never happened?
The stabbing?
The stabbing was a fake story.
Yeah, you told me it
Yeah,
was
yeah.
because they had beef or
Yeah, the
or something
dudes
like
had
that.
beef, and
Right,
they ended up getting into a fight at the Popeyes, but it wasn't over the chicken,
Over the
which,
chicken, yeah,
which
yeah,
is what they tried to make
Yeah,
it. You know, it's-
It was hard to believe that anyway.
Yeah.
It was a little too built up.
But I just hate when people do that. Like,
Right.
you know,
Right.
Just examples of the
So,
news.
but
Democrats do it all day.
but back to the yams.
Back to the yams. Hold on, first, Dominic Wilson said, "Sup, Moon."
What's up, Dom?
Maria Kelly Penny's watching. What's up, Maria? Sharik was watching.
Sharikla, of course, her hubby is on.
Yeah, her husband's on, so she
Brandon.
gotta watch.
Hey, listen, you leave that woman alone. She watching just to prove you guys
I
wrong.
know,
All
but that's
right?
why we say it. Look, we got to guilt her
She's
into
like-
watching every week.
What up, B?
Brandon Mullins watching. What's up, Brandon? Michael Christie, Beverly, how you doing? Stephen Street. Make sure you guys share and like and thumbs up and all that good stuff. We appreciate y'all. But yeah, so the chicken sandwich I mean, listen,
It was good.
I got the spicy one. It was good.
It was good.
It was good. Like, but
Is it better than
Chick-fil-A?
Chick-fil-A?
No,
no,
I don't think so.
I don't think so. Either.
Right. Okay.
Chick-fil-A.
Now,
It was
wait.
different.
Are you saying you're talking about the experience or the like? Because Chick-fil-A sandwich and experience combined, or you're talking about just the sandwich?
I just think that it wasn't better. Like you couldn't say it was better. Like they were comparable, but they're two different.
Okay.
We're just talking about the food.
The Popeyes one had a lot more breading, and
Okay.
and the thing about it was like the way the chicken was shaped, it made the sandwich weird, like
Okay.
weird to eat. You know
yeah,
what I mean?
it was really big, right?
All right.
Yeah.
Exactly how I felt.
Yeah.
Like, I was like halfway through, and I was like, I'm done with this chicken.
Yeah,
It was-
the chicken was like big on one side and flat. on the
I
other
was
side.
not feeling
was
it.
Like,
Yeah.
yeah.
That's exactly how I felt.
The chicken wasn't leveled. Chicken had a
Nah,
slope
no,
to
it's
it.
not-
It had a
it's not-
slope,
wasn't.
man. It wasn't. I don't know
No,
what
no
kind of
symmetry.
Yeah.
Chicken symmetry.
What kind of chicken is this?
Yeah,
But I
that
ate
was-
the shit out of it though.
That was them cage raised chickens, mutated chickens. Look like the motherfucker from 300 that came up like
Huge bicep on one
Yeah,
side.
right, exactly.
Should be
raise
on
your
it.
shield.
Fully grown in 1 month.
Yeah, right.
Chicken.
He
Right.
fully grown in 1 month. You remember the dude on 300?
Yeah.
Trying to be a Spartan.
What was his name?
What them chickens grow up looking
I
like
can't remember his name.
I can't remember his name.
Heracles or some shit like
Heracles.
Hermaphrodite.
that. Something like that.
Uh-oh,
haven't-
Sharifa said something smart.
I haven't had it yet.
Give that sandwich its props. The spicy sandwich was delicious. No, it was
Sandwich.
good. No, this is what we said. We didn't say it was bad, and we didn't say it was better than Chick-fil-A. It's different.
Yeah, yeah.
Um,
It has its own lane.
It has a good pickle.
Yeah.
I'll say that.
Yeah.
A nice
has a
thick,
good pickle.
Nice thick.
I haven't had it
pickle-
yet, so
the
I
pickle is
can't.
solid.
I don't know.
The pickle is
It's-
solid.
It's
I don't
good.
know.
It's not,
Dude, it's
sometimes
it's,
I feel like people just shit on stuff just
Yeah.
because they don't want to be,
they don't want to
go
follow
along
the
with the
crowd,
hype,
and
but
then
it's-
people overhype stuff because they want to jump on the bandwagon.
Right.
So
Plus, everything is reactionary now. So of course, people are gonna.
Yeah.
Oh my god, it's amazing. You know?
yeah.
And I had one before the sellout crisis.
Oh, really?
The crisis.
The
Chicken
crisis.
crisis.
The
Chicken gate.
crisis. And it wasn't shaped as weird. Like it wasn't all like thick
Yeah.
on one side. And
I told you
know,
they had
like-
to reach in that bucket of the rejects to
So, like, the
fulfill the
second-
quota.
That is
It's
true.
like, I don't
That
know
is
if I'm
true.
making this up in my head that it's just worse now because they're like mass producing
Yeah,
it. Like we'll
right.
never run out of
Right.
sandwiches again.
Right.
But,
And
yeah.
now no one cares.
So you're
'Cause
telling
there
me-
was like
Nah.
15 sandwiches of each kind there when we went to the one in Florida.
So you tell me when I finally eat this chicken, I bring my level. Just
Yeah,
chicken.
yeah.
The bubble is over here. This chicken.
Yeah, right, exactly. But no, it was good. It was a
Alright.
solid.
Yeah.
It was a solid chicken sandwich.
Okay.
solid.
Better than anything KFC would make.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Disrespect KFC, man.
Dude, this dude still has loyalty to KFC.
Right. Some salty.
Salty.
I love the original.
That's
I
because
nev-
you were eating that for free. He
I
was
never-
back there.
I love the original
I never, yo.
recipe. What?
No, I'm not going to call you out. But we had a long session on the road. The first night we were hanging out, and I
This
started
guy,
getting into
man.
my old Moon stories. And a lot of them involved KFC and the back rooms. We'll just say the back rooms of
Yeah,
KFC.
right.
Oh
It
man.
was hilarious, bro. I had these.
Don't look
dudes-
at me like that,
I had
Rach.
these dudes rolling, bro.
Right.
I was a bad boy.
That's why he's so loyal to KFC.
There was
No,
there
His
was
memories attached to that chicken.
Yeah, there was more than just chicken breast back there.
Right.
You know?
Right?
It's not just chicken
There's
breasts.
a lot more tender than just the chicken.
Who ordered these thighs? Yeah. The thighs belong to somebody named Cinnamon.
Yo, he said. Yo,
James is stupid.
the funny thing is, I found out something that I didn't know, which was that like one of the times, the guy that was the manager at the time, who was like this pushover, he had to come find him. Mm-hmm. He had to because someone had placed orders, and he's like, these orders are up. Okay, where's my employees?
Simone.
Where's my employees? And he had to go searching for more and caught him, bro.
Oh,
All right. All right.
Yo, that was some funny stuff.
It is.
But yeah. So.
But I'm sure he hooked you up. You guys rode through the drive-through.
No, I used to work there.
Oh, you used to work?
Yeah,
Oh, so
yeah, we worked together. Yeah, we worked there at the same time.
Yeah.
But yeah.
I remember Jamie pulled up before you worked there.
Yeah, he
pulled up to the drive-through. He was like, "Yo."
That was how we became friends pretty much. Because we recognized each other from school. Right. I was in the car with my mom, and he was like, and he hooked us up with some Chicken Little sandwiches because he knew me. Right. So then we've been tight ever since, man. Yes. Give a brother some chicken.
All over chicken.
Yeah. Right. Give a brother, and them Chicken Littles was banging. I can't even.
Were.
Yeah, that was good.
I love those Chicken Littles.
Yeah. Then when I started working there, dude, man, when I tell you some of the nastiest stuff you've ever seen, just like. Yeah. I remember one time, dude, dudes were just disrespectful. And I never understood this. Like, what do you get out of disrespecting the people's food?
Yeah, yeah.
You know what I mean?
I think it's just people, especially men, young boys just love doing nasty stuff. That's just what it is.
I'm going to tell you this one story.
We're about to lose everybody.
No names.
I'm about to tell you this. I'm not going to leave it making, I'm not going to tell you any names. But I'll say that, him and his brother worked there. You know what I'm talking about?
Yes.
Okay, so one night he was mad because we were closing up and he was trying to get out of there. And I think it was who was the old black lady, Miss Paula, yeah. She was like,
should we have said that?
No, because it doesn't involve her. She didn't know. So she was like, nah, you ain't getting out of here. You got to make the coleslaw. He was he was bitching about having to make this coleslaw. So he takes that way we used to make the coleslaw was this giant tub, right? And you dump all everything's in packages. You dump all the lettuce and stuff is all in there, and then there's the dressing, and you dump all the dressing in there, and then you mix it up. Mm-hmm. So this dude was like just cleaned all the utensils and stuff like that.
So he
was like, I'm gonna make this coleslaw. So he dumped everything in there, and he's using his boot. His Timberland boot to mix up the coleslaw, bro.
How is that supposed to hurt her?
No, he just was being an asshole. But this is what I'm saying, and I was watching yo, what is wrong with you? Why would you do that? Man. But people used to do dumb stuff like that all the time.
Yeah,
I'm sure I've eaten a couple of shoelaces.
Fingernail, right? That's why it's like fast food, man. Yeah. Listen, you're expecting underpaid young.
That's true.
Young teenagers.
Yeah, got to put things in perspective.
To
That's why I go to Chick-fil-A if I'm gonna go somewhere because there are too many managers. There's 3-4 managers watching all of them.
That's
They're
right.
This manager has U6. This manager has U6.
No,
there ain't nobody back there.
That's what it is.
Making boot coleslaw.
Right. No fast food restaurant couldn't touch Chick-fil-A service.
Exactly.
Get out of here. You ain't even even if the sandwich is good, the service is not gonna, you know what I mean?
Right.
Especially if you go to an area where you know that people don't give you an attitude.
Yeah, in some neighborhoods, man, I wouldn't even step foot in some of them restaurants.
Yeah.
Because it's you already
Listen,
know.
having to buy, sometimes, we work, my dad and I were doing a job in Philly, and sometimes if we, I don't feel like eating the same thing, I'll say, okay, but every time I do it, I instantly regret. I'm like, what? What was I thinking, Yeah. It's like city.
Yeah. Yep.
But I do want to say, that's the one thing about the Caribbean. It doesn't matter which country you go to.
Yeah.
The attitude of Caribbean people are never good.
Dude, I gotta differ with you on that one because the people in Grenada.
No, wait, hold on.
Whoa, they were all amazingly nice.
Yeah, all right.
Well,
but don't you think it's because you guys were attached to?
Could be. That's fair.
I'm telling you because
that's fair.
In the Caribbean, music and sports.
Yeah. They knew we were Freddie Jackson's band.
Yeah.
Everywhere we went, they knew we were Freddie Jackson's band.
You guys don't look like islanders. Maybe Moan. If you give Moan a coconut, people will give him a tip.
But when I was in Trinidad, I didn't look like an islander either. And I remember going into the ice cream store, and they're like, "What you want? What you want?"
Well, Trinidad,
I'm like, can I have
what you want?
To be fair, Trinidad have light skinned people, so you were nothing new.
That's true.
Yo, Trinidad is mixed as heck, bro.
Of
I remember
course.
seeing a documentary on.
Yeah, you saw Asians. You know
I
what
saw
he, this is what he
Asians.
mean. He saw Asians in Trinidad.
Yeah.
Yeah,
It's
people,
Asians.
people that look like me, people like Jamie,
Yeah.
they're all types.
Yeah, Trinidad
Yeah.
is very mixed, man.
Yeah, I was
But
pretty
Their
surprised.
service level is
Oh no, listen, I will be the
thumbs
first.
down.
No, yeah,
Is
But
is
then-
it worse than Asians?
no. Hey, hold on here.
Have you ever
Asians.
have you ever been to an Asian supermarket? My
Yes.
mom almost got into a
Of
fight.
course I have.
Yeah, I
Got
stopped
into a
going.
fight
Yeah.
with a lady who just beep beep
Throwing
beep
everything.
throwing her
Yeah.
shit.
Yeah. What'd your mom say? Because your mom's a gangster, boy.
My mom is gangster.
Right.
She's just why are you throwing it like that? That's my food. I'm paying for it.
Yep. Yeah, no, believe me, man.
In her her Cambodian accent.
Yeah.
Those kind of countries, though, like, okay, so there's manners, but it seems like people who own things, because it's not any chain, so there's no, you know how like when you get hired in a job, you got to go in that back room and listen to hi, welcome to the team, and you're the uncle, the auntie, the cousin, the friend, so you don't care.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Right. And you feel like you're doing them a favor anyway.
No
Right.
quality control.
No,
Yeah,
there's no
no.
quality control.
Yeah,
There's
I
no
remember when I first I worked at Walmart for like a few months when I was 17. The worst job I ever had in my life to this day. But I remember that like first couple of days you go in there and they put you in the back room and they get you all excited.
wheel out the video.
Yeah, right. You're a part of the Walmart family, started by Sam Walton.
It starts off with like a trumpet playing.
yeah,
Welcome
right.
to the team.
Right? They start telling you about how you get stock options, like it's like all this stuff is like wow, and then you start working, and then
Right.
it's like
It's always the example of the one guy who's stocking the shelf wrong because he's pissed off.
Yeah.
Well, James, that's not the way we do things here. James doesn't have a good attitude
Yeah,
today.
yeah.
He won't go. And it's like the one story of like, it's like Whack Arnold's. Like,
yeah,
Whack
Whack
Arnold.
Arnold's.
But that's what it is in the Caribbean. Everything is mom and pop. So people are not going to get, like, you're not going to come tell the grocery store that his son's an asshole. You know what I mean? It's like,
Yeah.
they're not going to buy it.
Yeah,
you know?
and they don't care. They don't care. Yeah, Walmart might care, but
It might
a lot
care,
of
yeah,
times.
yeah. And there's really rarely any franchises. That's why like Burger King and Wendy's and McDonald's don't really survive in those kind of places.
A lot of KFCs.
KFCs.
though.
I was
yes,
about to say
that-
that.
that
They
is
love
true.
some
That is-
KFC.
KFC.
That's true.
Then I
Maybe
wonder
they got
why.
Maybe they got Moan's memo. They're serving thighs back there.
and breasts.
But I wonder why they haven't put any Popeyes in the Caribbean, man.
I don't know.
Like you would think the Popeyes got the
Yeah, that's
the
it.
spice.
red beans and rice and the jambalaya.
I think
and
we're
the-
you see,
like-
but we don't. But that's different though. You
They
get,
were like, get this shit out of here.
yeah, it's different because our red beans are different than that.
Yeah, but they
Yo.
sell baked beans at KFC and they eat that bullshit.
That doesn't sell
Yo,
down
even
there.
even
Nobody
in
wants
Grenada,
that.
the dude,
Yeah.
what the hell's his name? I can't ever remember his name. Our driver.
Yeah, I forget his name too.
Okay,
he
suggested that
he was suggesting KFC.
because
Yeah.
that's familiar, you know.
Yeah, KFC.
No, he said it was really good.
It was
and I was telling them, I did one of these from the back. Like,
right. Listen, this man ate KFC for 7. He came down to Trinidad. He wanted to have.
Listen, I've been hearing about Trinidadian KFC for at least 12 years now, okay? So when I got there, I'm like, hell yeah, I want to try this amazing because you know me, like KFC is a place I will never go in the States.
Right.
Never go. Because I just first of all working there and the bad experience and I'm just not a fan of the food. I know how it's made.
Right.
You know, the original recipe was when we first started working there, it was the
Was
best.
the best.
When they stopped marinating it, it became whack.
Something different.
So I never go to KFC. So for them to be like big up in this KFC in Trinidad and Chinese food also, I was
Yeah.
hearing for years how it's the best Chinese food, is way better than the Chinese food here. So I'm intrigued. I want to see. You know me, and so
Boy, did we miss that mark.
so I had it, and I was like, okay,
Right.
nope,
Tastes the same.
the same, yeah, pretty much.
But I think
like identical.
I think it changed over the years, though.
You think so?
I think so.
I think maybe you guys remember it differently. You
Probably.
know, there's that thing.
I think you
Probably.
it was probably they
Because it was new
marinated-
to us at that time.
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
But they had more leeway. So back in the day, when they started opening the franchise, they had more leeways to do different things.
Right.
And I think when they, because like anything that grows, there's gonna have to be some form of control because they're gonna go crazy in there. They're gonna have
Right.
So I think maybe
They got live chickens running around.
Probably.
Yeah, no, I hear you, but I also think there is that element of
I'm sure.
Because you remember how like you'll because I've even seen it with certain things where you guys are like, oh, you got to try this and that from when we were kids, and then you go back and even you try it and you're like, I remember this being better. Certain candies and
That's
stuff
true.
like because it's just the nostalgia, the memory of it. Like,
I feel that way with like candies now and things like that. Like, currently though, as in I know they've changed it. I think so. Like 50%, it's like, oh, this is from my childhood. But 50%, like Rolos used to be my jam.
Right.
I tasted some the other day. I was like, I'm a baker. This caramel is different. Like this is not. No.
So you think they changed
downgraded?
the caramel?
They downgraded, man. They got all these cheap ingredients. Corn syrup has come into the mix. It's taken over the world.
Corn syrup has been in the mix since 1945.
All I'm saying
or we as humans, our palates change.
That is also true.
That's true too. That's like true. Scientific fact. Like the older you get, your palates change.
And I think once your palate becomes more defined, then those things that you thought were like so amazing back in the day, you're like, what was I thinking?
I think I'll go half. I'll go half that.
Me too.
You don't want to concede?
No,
they're changing up the recipes.
Let me tell you something.
They're changing it.
Wawa coffee was my shit for years. Like we would go.
We used to swear by it.
We would like when we were in California. All we did was talk shit on 7-Eleven and all their coffee. Like, yo, I don't know nothing about Wawa, blah blah blah. We would talk about that shit all the time. And when we would go on the road, we couldn't wait to come back home to have Wawa coffee again because it's like what we grew up on. It's what we knew. And I remember when we went to England. And that Romanian lady was making us coffee every morning.
Yeah,
and she was making us some of the best coffee.
Now, you can't compare that.
No,
man.
but listen, this is my point. This is my point. When we got back to the States, we went back to Wawa. This is a week, 10 days later.
Bullshit.
10 days later. And literally, I can't drink Wawa anymore.
Man, that lady, that's her one job. I make for you the best coffee in the world.
But what I'm saying is, so then I had to step my game up.
Totally didn't sound Romanian.
Right.
That's
Italian. That was
the best coffee in the world.
He went Rome. Romanian to Rome.
You got
the coffee in the world.
You know what I mean.
Italian.
No, but what I'm saying is like that 10 days of drinking a certain type of coffee, because if I did have like really good coffee, maybe it was like one time and then I'm back at Wawa, so it wasn't enough to like advance my palate. But like that 10 days straight of every morning, she was like adamant about making us this really strong, like it was really strong coffee and really like flavorful coffee. So then when we came back and we drank that trash water at Wawa, it was like. And this is before Wawa had all the flavors it has now. Even like they had like two roasts, and then you
Colombian.
could get hazelnut and French vanilla. You know, so it definitely like changed the way it tastes because you've now been exposed for a prolonged period into more things. So it made it so that now I needed something more. So then I started drinking Starbucks after that.
I think y'all just hating. No, listen, but here's the thing, right? I've noticed that over here, everything is geared towards a certain sweetness and certain, like, drinking coffee, like, around the world, they drink coffee, man.
But that's not the case. Like, I think you're looking at it like the drinks that the women buy. Like the caramel.
This man orders when he goes to Starbucks.
I
don't.
I'm with Moan every day.
He changed that.
The joke came from because I was like, yo,
because he always says the frapple schnapple.
Yeah. That joke came from I was like, yo, he was going to Wawa. I was like, yo, get me a coffee and then put this much French vanilla and this much Irish cream.
Right. But this is before.
You get a black coffee.
But this is before, though. This is before we.
Yeah.
This is when we still liked Wawa coffee.
Right. And then he started joking, oh, you want the frapple,
Yeah.
Bro, it's just coffee with two types of creamers.
But listen, I'm with Moan every time we go to Starbucks and he gets black coffee with heavy cream in it. That's it.
I don't even put heavy cream in it anymore.
Yeah, just black coffee.
Yeah.
And me, I get same thing, black coffee with heavy cream in it.
Yeah, I mean, I like Wawa. I don't think it's terrible. I don't like Dunkin' Donuts.
Dude, I can't drink Wawa coffee. I can't drink Dunkin' Donuts coffee. It just tastes too watered down to me. Like it's like and even like the the quality of beans. You know what I mean? Because like once you start going down that road, you start becoming snobby about it, and like you start looking at beans.
I'm looking at it right now.
Right. That's what I'm saying. It's like, but it's your same approach to like peppers and like pepper sauces. Like you're very snobby about that, right?
That's true.
Like you'll be like, no, this has a hint of too much vinegar in this one.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Too much mustard in this sauce for me. You know, it's like when you're exposed to something. You know what I mean? Like for me, I never had the pepper sauce like y'all exposed me to. Yeah. But now I can't go back. Yeah. Because it's too late. I'm down that road now. So it's like if I do have, you know, Texas Pete's or something, it's like, get that shit out of here. Right. Tabasco is like, I don't even want that on my food. It makes it worse.
Right.
You know
to me, it's different.
Yeah.
Like
But I drink black coffee. So for me, it's like, I don't put anything in it.
Yeah.
So I feel like I still get the robustness from it. You know what I mean?
I do too, but I drink it black too, but I still like a stronger coffee. Like I like it to be roasted better, a better quality roast, a better quality. Right. Like
I like light coffee sometimes, but it just gotta be good beans. You can tell the difference.
Yeah.
You know.
That's the thing.
Dunkin' Donuts. There's something about Dunkin' Donuts that I hate. There's like this acidic aftertaste. I can't really explain it. It's just terrible.
Yeah. I mean, it probably comes from the beans that they use.
Right.
Yeah.
But yeah, I think it's that. It's that you get used to a certain thing and then.
But I do agree with Rachel there that I feel like, your palate does grow, but I feel like over time, why would companies not do that? They're thinking about their profit. They're like, we're gonna keep it the same, but we're gonna.
No, they making cuts.
Well,
you know
course,
they making cuts.
Of course, that's
they
what
do.
Talking about KFC,
And it only gets more like the food industry only gets better at making cuts in the food so that they have to spend less money on it.
Yeah.
That only keeps advancing.
Because it comes down to their profit margin.
Yeah.
And they're like, how can we substitute this for this, but make this? You know
I'm
what I
not
mean?
saying corn syrup wasn't in the mix. I'm saying now every ingredient is based off of corn syrup.
When I started working at KFC, it was a few years before Jamie, and I stayed way longer.
Longer.
I seen the shift.
Yeah, we know why.
That's not why.
Okay.
It might have been part of the reason.
No, it was because he was running the whole shit.
Right.
I saw the shift. We used to get the chicken in like mesh bags, and you put it in a tumbler, and marinate it. That you used to come in early just to marinate chicken.
Yeah.
And then as soon as they whatever company bought and then corporatized everything, that chicken, was pre-marinated, not as good.
Once it consolidated into Taco Bell, Pizza Hut, KFC, all that joined together, it totally changed.
Yeah.
That's why, like, I remember you wouldn't want to get the chicken at the end of the day because a lot of times that chicken wasn't marinated.
Right. But that's what I'm saying. So your palate, you grew up eating it in the tumbler, and all of a sudden one day you're chomping away. You're like, wait, hey, hold on here a minute. You know that this doesn't taste the same anymore.
Yeah, but also there's also that element of like I grew up as a kid thinking that the macaroni and cheese was the shit. And then as you get older, you're like, this is some bullshit. And that didn't change at all.
Right.
They could make that the same. So there is also that element of like when you're younger, you don't really know what's good.
You don't.
You think certain things are good. And then as you get older, you're like, like when I was a kid, I used to go into Wawa and hit that cappuccino machine. Yeah. Be like, this is amazing.
Yep.
You know what I mean?
Yep.
And now I would die if I drank that.
Right.
I think I would literally like drop dead.
Right.
All that sugar.
Just sugar and like the faintest hint of coffee ever.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Probably powdered milk.
Yeah. It's terrible.
But anyway, Black Friday. How did we get talking on this, man?
I don't know.
The Popeye's chicken sandwich.
Oh yeah, Popeye's chicken sandwich.
I still haven't tried it. I'll give it a shot.
Yo, but I remember working at Walmart on Black Friday. Dude, it was crazy back then.
That's my point proven. The Popeye's chicken sandwich. There you go. It was bomb. It sold out. And now they come back and it's still okay. But I'll stand by. It was not as good as it was 4 months ago because they were like, we gotta mass produce this.
Yeah.
We gotta find these basement chickens and make this happen.
Yeah. So they call
I get that definitely happens. But there ain't no mass. There ain't no mass like craze for Rolos though. You know what I'm saying? Like Rolos.
But I'm sure they're part of a bigger chocolate company like Hershey or one of these
Mars or something.
Moguls.
Right. But all of them have consistent. I feel like consistent sales. Like they don't have this big craze. Like everybody wants fucking M&Ms right now.
There's a Rolo conspiracy.
Yeah.
But what I was gonna say is, so when I was working at Walmart around Black Friday, it was this giant craze for the Tickle Me Elmo had just came out. That's how old I am. And the Pikachu doll first came out. And I used to watch these people come in there losing their freaking minds to get their hands on this Tickle Me Elmo. And I worked in the toy department. So it was just a constant battle of like people arguing and fighting. And you think about it like, are you really making your kids happier by buying them this?
No.
Like, are you making like, is there like the fact that people put so much energy and effort into, I have to get this for my kids because it's gonna matter so much. Like, where does that come from? Yeah, it's gonna matter so much.
I think it comes from. I think I have a theory on that. I think it's something that's suppressed within yourself. Yeah, you felt like you missed out on something. Yeah, and you want your kid to have that. Whatever it is that you think, you don't know what they want, but whatever it is that they want, you want that to be fulfilled within you. Something that was lacking in your life.
To the point where, like, remember when that Furby craze happened? Yeah. And people were spending like $1,000 on Furbies. Yep. And like selling them on Amazon. Like some lady like people were trying to kill her because she like bought up all the Furbies and was then marked them up and was selling them to people online. Right. And everyone was like coming at her.
It's just capitalism. Why are they mad?
Yeah. Why are you mad?
Yeah.
Because they're like, my son is autistic and he can't have a Furby because you're greedy. It's like this whole
He's
thing.
Also 38.
But it's like, yo, that Furby's not going to change his life.
No.
And it's going to be in the trash in 5 years. Like, if it makes it that long. Like, I can't even think of what the Tickle Me Elmo was anymore. Like, what was the point of it?
Right.
Why was it so big? The Pikachu doll, same thing. Like, it was like, what did you have to have about this thing? All of these things are not gonna. They're fulfilling these empty things that are never.
But that's the thing, though. Like, what do you do as a parent? Because your kid comes to you. Your kid, you have to really be breaking that down for them, or just say no. You know, because your kid is. They're seeing other kids, and that's what it is. Parents don't want their kids to feel left out. Right. You know, I don't feel my kid left out, and I want to do everything with my power to get this for him or her. You know.
Yeah, but I think you have to do a better job of, like you said, making them understand that like you don't need everything. Right. And just because you see someone else has something, that doesn't mean that you have to have it.
Yeah, I think people miss societal teaching points. Yeah. When those things happen, like Black Friday or whatever toy or whatever it is, they miss it and they want to just be loved by their kids so much that they miss an opportunity to teach them, hey, this toy it's gonna mean nothing to you in this much time. You know what I mean?
I'm gonna break my neck to go to the store and wait in line all day and go to 500 stores to try to find you this one thing that you're not gonna give a shit about in 6 months. Right. And like that's supposed to be okay.
We're worried about.
Isn't that a Christmas movie? The Arnold Schwarzenegger movie.
Yeah. Oh, that's right. Yeah, Jingle All the Way.
Jingle All the Way.
HorribleMovies.com.
Yeah. But it's just something about that, man. Like I said, being in retail and seeing that. And it's never going to stop.
And I think there's like a healthy balance. Like you can't just be like, well, kids, see how everyone wants everything? You get nothing. You know, like you can't be the Willy Wonka dad who's like no candy for you. Yeah. I think my parents did a pretty good job at like staying on a reasonable budget. But at the same time, like maybe not every Christmas, maybe not every birthday, but there were consistent rewards for good behavior. You know what I'm saying? And like if I asked for something, it would often kind of be like, okay, well, maybe we'll see. But I wasn't like, give it to me now. Mm-hmm. It was just sort of like, okay, that's on.
I want it now,
Daddy.
I want an Oompa Loompa.
Right.
It was on the list. And they made sure enough times to be like, okay, we went out of our way to go and get this for you. You're not going to get this and 17 other things.
Right,
You're going to get this because this is special and this is what you asked for.
Yeah.
And like instilling that like, oh, okay, like you're not a piece of crap kid and you want something, you've asked for it, you've done everything you're supposed to do in life. Okay, sometimes we can reward that without being like material things are everything.
Right.
There's a healthy balance to that.
I think so.
Yeah, because you see, at the other side of that is that like you're just constantly giving them whatever they want. They're at Christmas like they're ripping shit open and throwing it aside. What's next? What's next?
Right.
Keep it coming, baby. Keep it coming. It's like, you know what I mean? It's like
There's no respect.
There's no value to it at all. They don't care.
Right. And two, the other thing is, I feel like our generation, we're dealing. Yes, that was in other generations, but now with social media, it's heightened.
Yeah.
So, you know,
everyone's posting pictures of what they got for Christmas. You know?
So you know
that happens with like Valentine's Day and stuff too. Like proposals, all that stuff has gotten so much more extreme. The what's it? Baby reveals. All those things. It's
wedding
like
reveal.
Someone has to keep up
They
in
have
the
to
ante
outdo each other
because social media. You can now see what the latest and greatest was,
right?
And you want that moment for you now. You know,
yeah.
And the kids that are growing up in that now, it's going to be even worse for them.
Right.
You know what I mean?
I love you. Splat.
Yeah. You see like these prom videos that go viral, like asking a girl to the prom is like this huge. Right. You got to do this huge thing now. It's like I could not be me, man.
Right.
Yeah.
Too
much work.
Yeah.
I mean, it's definitely it's such a teaching tool that parents miss.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? I think it's such a, you know, I remember asking my mom when I came to the United States for Timberlands. Yeah. Not because I wanted it per se, but because that's what I saw. And
everyone else had them.
Yeah, I was like, okay. I didn't know anything about it.
Right.
I saw, and she saw that price. She said, "What kind of job are you doing?"
Right. She's like, what are you in construction?
Yeah. And I really wasn't attached to being cool or anything like that. But I was just like, okay.
My mom was the same way, bro.
But I didn't realize it until I went to look at the price for myself. I was like, that's what it costs?
Yeah. Yeah, I remember we used to have to go to USA Blues and talk them Indian dudes down, but baby, you had to talk them down. I had my boy Troy that used to work at Echelon Mall. I used to go in there and I remember I used to bargain with him. He used to hate seeing me come in there because he knew I was about to make his life miserable. I remember one time he took $10 out of his wallet to put towards the shoes because I was haggling him. So he was like trying to make a point. So because they were 120 for the Timbs. I was trying to get them for 80. And he was like, "No, I'll give them to you for 100." I'm like, 80, man, I can't do like 80. Come on, Troy, you see me here all the time. You know, I started hitting him with this stuff. So he was like, "All right, I'll give them to you for 90, but I'll put $10 in so you get it for 80." Like he was gonna make me feel bad. I was like, "Okay,
thank you."
I don't feel bad at all.
Yeah, but it's like now you look back on it, it's like so dumb.
Right.
Damn. What's up, Tiffany? How you doing?
120, bro.
120, man.
Now how much are Timbs?
They're like 190.
Damn. Yeah. What?
Yes.
I haven't bought a pair of Timbs since
you see, I don't
2004.
I don't own a pair of Timbs.
People still buy them though.
I do like them though still.
Yeah.
That's because of the
nostalgia. You grew up with them, the look and everything. Yeah. Because you ain't doing no construction either.
Nope. You kill somebody, something get on it.
Yeah. Right. That was the thing about Timbs. It was like you had to buy the Timbs, but you had to buy the spray. Right. And then you had to get the eraser. And then you had to have all that. Then you couldn't put them near. Remember you would sit in the back seat of someone's car and your feet would be all the way back because if you hit the front seat, you could scuff them up so you'd be back there like.
Rachel, you never know that black men went through this, right? This is what it's like, hey man, is that your asthma bag? No, that's my shoe cleaning kit.
And when you got a new pair of Timbs, like you will only bust them out every so often. Right. And you have your backup Timbs that you wore
most
of the time.
Yeah, it's snowing. Mom, get my slippers, not the Timbs.
No, you never wore Timbs in the snow.
No,
never, man. Like that was crazy. Yo, think back on.
We all did
dumb.
ridiculous things.
Yeah,
you know what I mean.
We all
Stupid.
did. Just
Right?
dumb, ridiculous.
I used to walk funny, like when I used to get new Air Force Ones.
Yeah,
you
to
don't
keep
want
them
you
from
don't want to
creasing.
crease them.
Yeah.
You used to walk.
Jeez.
and that's what. But that's why when you look at kids now, it's like you can.
Right. I didn't go through that phase.
You can't just like totally shit on them.
No.
Right.
You have to
Right.
understand in a sense, but you can try to like break them out of that,
Right,
so
right.
that they don't make those same dumb mistakes.
That's
that you
probably
made.
what it is. I think like the older generation, we don't know how to like really, instead of saying don't do that, explain to them why.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Right.
Without turning into some like philosophy.
Yeah.
You know.
Yeah.
And I think you can teach like even young kids like the value of the dollar.
Right.
Yeah.
Like that's something we talk about that we don't get educated properly even in high school about like
Right.
finances and building credit and all of the things you need to be
Right.
a successful human being.
Right.
Yeah.
Even on any salary, you need to
Right,
know those
right.
things.
Yeah.
But I like what you said though. I think it like maybe like you said like 1 year you get the thing you want, but next year you're not gonna get what
Right.
you want. And
It's
a compromise.
not this guarantee. Right?
Exactly,
That's how
yeah.
I would think about it. It was
Yeah.
like when you got something, it was a reward. It wasn't like you're owed.
we owe you
things.
this,
I
yeah.
was never entitled
Right.
to anything.
Right.
Yeah. That's the thing.
So
You start feeling entitled when you think like, oh, make my Christmas list and you owe me all of this. If I don't get all of this, I'm
Right.
disappointed. You know what I mean? It's
Right,
like
right, Santa failed.
right.
You know?
But then think about that. When you push that Santa narrative, you now have to fulfill that.
Oh, you're
narrative.
committed to
Yeah.
that.
You know what I'm
You're
saying?
committed
Like,
to
because
that.
it's like, well, why didn't Santa give
There's
me
no
everything I
magic
asked
God
for?
who
Yeah.
just gives you
Right.
presents for
Because
free.
it's
Right.
not you, it's Santa.
Right.
Santa isn't broke.
So you have to. So now you have to. Now you got some questions to answer.
Right.
If Santa didn't give them
Right.
everything, you know.
Right.
But like even now, like Sam is 5, and we have like a large residential building, but it's not equipped with laundry. So luckily, there's a laundromat like a block away.
Right.
But every time we go there, I get the change. I hand him the change. Let's go. Like
Yeah.
the countdown begins. Like insert this. Understand that. To get something, we have to give something.
Right.
Same thing with the bus. We have a little scan card. If we get on the bus, he's all about like the bus. Oh, this is exciting. It's a bus ride. When we get on, you have to scan that card.
Yeah,
that
yeah.
makes our payment good and we're fair. But like nothing is for free.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Like mommy has to work
Yeah.
to make sure that we can do laundry
Yeah.
and get on the bus and buy donuts and do all these fun things. It's
Yeah.
not like
donuts.
everything is for free.
right.
And my mom used to do something with me and Jake because when we were young, she used to go to work all day, and especially in the summertime to keep us out of trouble, she would give us tons of chores to do. I'll get it for you. But she would give us tons of chores to do, but she knew that like in order to reward us, like she couldn't just like throw all this work on us every day.
Right.
So she would set up like these prices for everything that we did. We would get like, but it was like minimalist. Like it was like, you know,
50 cents.
Yeah. Like, you know, clean your room, you get $1. You know, mop the floor, you get 50 cents. You know what I mean? Like stuff like that. But what it did was, so now anything that we wanted, if we wanted a video game, if we wanted the new, I remember we wanted the new Street Fighter. So we was doing chores, making that money. You know what I mean? Video game was $50 at that time for a Super Nintendo game.
Mm-hmm.
And we would work to get that money. And we had a little log book where we would log it all and keep track of the money that they owed us. You know what I mean? And then we would, but it puts a value on it so that you understand that it takes work to make the money to get things that you want. It's not just something that people give to you because my mom couldn't buy us nothing. You know, we never, when we were kids, it wasn't like we used to go to school with patches on our jeans because she couldn't buy new clothes, so she would patch them up. You know what I mean? So it wasn't never like, I need these sneakers. I need Jordan. Never. You know what I mean? So
She ain't hearing that.
it wasn't until we could start making our own money that we could have those things. That's when Jake just went crazy when he started working.
Iceberg.
Yeah.
$200 iceberg.
It's
sweater.
funny because I don't know that side of him.
Yeah, right?
You know what I mean?
Yo, you don't know the Jake that I know.
Right.
Jake on fleek, as
Yes.
I like to call it.
Jake on fleek.
You don't know the Jake that I know from like
yeah.
middle school through high school.
Right.
Like
I don't
after
know.
high school, he kind of like chilled out his life with his girlfriends and Leslie kind of calmed him down. But like middle school, not even like, dude, not even. It goes all the way back to elementary. Like,
Really?
Jake-
That young?
dude,
Elementary.
I've told you the story about when he cut his hair off, right?
Yeah. You did.
Yeah. Well, Jake, Jake was in 2nd grade. Okay. What grade is Noe in?
No, he's in 4th.
So imagine him doing
7
some shit.
years old.
You're talking about 2 years before what he is now, right?
Uh-huh.
My mom used to take us to this barber that we used to jack our hair up. Like, he could not cut black hair at all. Some white dude, God bless him. He was a nice guy. But it was close by the house and it was cheap. So my mom would take us there to get our hair cut. So he would tear our hair up. So Jake was at an age now where he cared about how second grade, cared about
7 years old,
cared too much
like,
about
you're not gonna mess up this weight.
Yeah, right, exactly. So we got home one night. I think it was like a Friday night from getting our haircuts, and Jake was not happy with how his hair looked. We're all in the living room watching TV or a movie or something. And Jake is kind of like disappeared. He went upstairs and no one can find him. So me, being the little brother, I went to go look for him. So I go upstairs and I walk into the bathroom and I see Jake picking up hair off the counter and trying to put it back on his head. Trying to put it back on his head. Like, he's like, oh shit. Like, he's trying to put it back on his head. So I look and I was like, yo, what did you do? His whole side of his head was just shaved straight off. Because he don't know how clippers work. He's thinking, I'm going to tighten this shit up. Like, right? But he had just the bald setting on the clippers. And he went on the side of his head and just took the whole side off, right?
Right.
So it's Friday night,
Crazy.
right? So all he's thinking about is like, damn, what am I gonna do? He told me not to tell nobody. He's trying to put the hair back. It ain't working. Like, what are you doing? So his big idea is he's gonna wear a hat all weekend. And my mom's off all weekend. So he's wearing a hat from the moment he gets out of bed to the moment he goes to bed. And,
showering with a hat.
And I remember it was like one of those old maroon Phillies hats from the 90s.
Yeah.
And when the Phillies had the maroon, he was wearing one of those Phillies hats, maroon Phillies hats. And he was wearing that thing. And Jake never wore hats. So it made it even more obvious, right? So like all weekend he's wearing this hat. So I remember Sunday morning, we getting up out of bed, and it's like early in the morning, and I get up, and my mom's like, "Where's Jake?" I'm like, "Oh, he's in the room."
Wearing his hat.
But I didn't tell on him, but my mom started picking up on it. She's like, he's up to something. She's like, Jake, come in here. And he's like, okay, hold on. And he's going roughing trying to get the hat. And she's like, nope, come right now. So he comes in there, and like she sees his hair. She's like, what did you do? And then like she told me, you going to school like that? I don't care. You going to school like that. So
damn.
So Monday,
no fade, no nothing.
Just a bald streak on his head. So Monday morning we go to school. I'm in first grade. He's in second grade. So we go to school 3 right there, and I remember thinking like, because I don't know, at that age I still knew Jake cared so much. You know what I mean? So I'm like, what is he gonna do? Like, how is he gonna? So
what's he gonna say to?
Like he's gonna get made fun of. Jake ain't having that. Soon as he gets to school, the bus drops him off. First of all, he's the bus the whole time. No, we walk to school, so no bus at this time. We walk to school. So we get to school. He's wearing a hat. You can't wear a hat at school. He takes it off. As soon as he takes the hat off, he tells the teacher he's got a headache and he needs to go to the nurse's office. And he's holding his head on the spot. He's holding his head. So when we so later on, I'm in line to go to the lunchroom or something, and I see Jake's second grade class in the hallway as well. And I'm thinking like, oh, let me see what he's doing, because him and his little friends was out there. And I see Jake running around with his friends with an ice pack on his head, covering the spot. And he held that ice pack on his head the entire day.
Wow.
The entire day, yo. So that no one would see what he did to him, so he wouldn't get made fun of. And then when we got home, like, he made my mom feel sorry for him, so she colored it in with a makeup pencil. And then it looked kind of normal. So he went to school for the rest of the week with that pencil. Like, every day she would color it in for him. And then it grew back after that. But like, Jake has always cared. Like,
wow.
That's why it's like so funny to see how he is now because my whole life of him knowing him growing up was he was always that guy. Like when I tell the story, he tries to deny it, but I'm telling you, Jake stopped playing the cello because he didn't want to get made fun of.
Right now he's like he should be here in the chat.
Right.
He just turned it off.
No, he's sick today. He's probably high on some medicine right now. He's not watching. But yeah. He did not want to get made fun of carrying that cello to school. Yeah. So that's why he wouldn't take it. But yeah, Jake's always been like that, man.
Yeah, that's funny.
And that's what we're trying to find out.
I never heard that story.
Man, you never heard that story?
I never heard that story, dude.
Wow. Yo.
What causes that though, you know?
I don't know, man.
Yeah.
I don't know. It's just for him it was something that I don't know. I don't know where it started, but
the crazy thing about that is that shapes you for like a long time. Yeah. Because it's not like you snap out of it in a year. Mm-hmm. Like when you start discovering cool, what's not, how you dress, like you're cool, you're not cool, you're pretty, you're not pretty, you're athletic, you're not athletic. That shapes you for like the next 10 years. Yeah. Because I told you what happened in my neighborhood. When I moved into my neighborhood, all these kids were like right around like 8, 9. And they were all, I used to just watch the dynamic. They would all stand together, they would play, they would talk. And just by chance, like maybe about a year ago, I noticed they're now like teenagers, and they're so far apart. The bus has to pick them up at one place. They literally are like 50 to 100 feet away from each other.
Yeah, they won't talk to each other.
They won't talk to each other.
Right.
Literally, like a few years ago, they were loving each other and playing, and then all of a sudden, they're all the opposite. You know what I mean? And I'm like, something happens right at that age where they start discovering that. You know. And it's just amazing. And I don't know if parents.
All up in the camera and stuff.
I don't know. Schniggity. But something happens, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And I don't think parents pay attention to the social development or what's happening to them, their character, because it's shaping their character too. Choices, you know what I mean?
Yeah, I think parents don't. You know, we were just talking about this in another scenario, but parents just kind of like accept it. They don't. They think it's a normal thing, and they don't see that as something to counteract.
Yes.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And how it can.
Yeah, because they're not going to snap out of it naturally, but you have to almost like nudge them and say, I know you think this is cool.
Right.
You know?
You got to kind of show them something else. Because otherwise it can just, like, Jake will admit it now, like that was a problem for him, like because also for the simple fact that now you think about, on top of like wanting to be cool and fit in, now you don't being multiracial and not knowing where you fit in and not really fitting in with this crew or that crew. It's like it becomes an identity thing. Like where am I? You know what I mean?
Right.
And you know, he struggled with that for a long time. We joke about that, how like you know, for a while.
And if you don't figure it out, you're gonna spend a long time trying to figure it out.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Yeah. It's the same thing like with like, you know, like I said, with material things. And I learned that coming from Trinidad, where materialism was there, but it wasn't as prevalent as it is here now. I never understood it. By the time I got here, I was 14, so I was my personality already developed. So I was who I was, and I liked what I liked. And I think when you don't grow up in a society where you're pushed to like what everybody else likes, you're kind of on the outside anyway. Right. So if I tried, I'd be faking it. Right. You know, so it wasn't worth it.
I think in your society, it would have been more of like you're pushed to like what your cousins like as far as like hunting and like those type of things. So
that's the social pressures there.
It's a different dynamic. It still exists, but it's it's different things that are valued there. Right. So I think if like if you sort of being removed from that almost helps you in a sense.
Right.
To
being in that society, being a man wasn't athleticism. Right. It was can you hunt? Can you build?
Right.
Are you good at that? Yeah. And when I got here, and I would listen to girls, oh my God, he can dance, or he can like that. He can dance.
He's the best dancer.
Yeah, right.
It's different in different parts of the U.S. too.
Yeah, it is. It
is. But that's what I'm saying. Like gauging from like two different societies. Like being a man to me meant, you know, like hunting, fishing, building, fixing on the outside. And being a man here was he can dunk a ball. Right. And I didn't understand it. I was like, you know what I mean? Or athleticism or something like that. You know what I mean?
And I don't know if that necessarily...
I'm talking about, by the way, just so everybody understands, I'm talking about from a boy's perspective.
Right.
Not now.
Right.
But I'm saying as a boy looking at, and I would people in amazement at an athlete or whatever. And listen, there's things to be admired, but building a house and is two different things.
It's arguably more important than being able to dunk a basketball.
Right. I didn't get it. I didn't get that. You know what I mean?
Yeah. It's a strange thing, like understanding what cultures value, what they, because some cultures it's like the smartest guy is the most manly, the guy who is the scientist or the engineer, you know what I mean? Right. The guy who can, be the best at math, you know what I mean?
Right. And subsequently, what happens, I feel, is if you don't break that down, then your kids start picking those things that society says is masculine or feminine based on that whatever it is. Like, so if the guy is cool, then that's what your daughter is being pushed towards. If the girl is pretty and that's all your son values is the beauty or whatever it is, not looking inward. You know what I mean?
Right.
Which is gonna almost set them up to make bad choices consistently for the next 10 to 15 years, or if they have never get it.
I think there's an element of that you can't really control, though, when you think about like the public school environment.
Yeah.
So you can only try to manage it with your children.
It's going to happen.
They're going to be exposed to it no matter what, because those hierarchies start to develop in high school.
Right.
It starts earlier than that.
Middle school.
It starts even in elementary school. I remember it. You know what I mean? Like you start seeing some of those hierarchies develop, and it can continue throughout.
And clothes and materialism help accentuate that.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Right, yeah.
Because naturally, kids, of course, every human has different abilities. So there are going to be people who may be more attractive, maybe more athletic. So in high school, it is about the physical.
Right.
Because that's what you're seeing first.
Right.
It's immediate.
That's what gains you the most attention in that moment of the dynamic of the social environment that we're in. Who raises to the top? It's the athlete.
And that's the basic structure of how society is structured, because you start off with physicality.
Right.
And that's what kids know. They don't know what's in your account. Nobody has money here.
Right.
You know what I mean? You're all on an even playing field until you start discovering this one gets more attention because they look pretty, or this one is really athletic, or this one is funny, or this one is a class clown, or whatever it is. And that's how the structure starts to build. And then all of a sudden you were friends when you were 2 and 4, and now all of a sudden you start to, because she's not cool enough to be in the group no more.
Right.
And all of those things start to take place.
Yeah, I think it's like we were saying, it's all about the idea of the hierarchy and how it all develops and
structuring for kids.
It unfolds in high school in a certain way. And when you realize, and you see it in those cheesy movies where it's like someone that you've been friends with since you were a child, it didn't matter then, but now you being attached to them lowers you in the hierarchy, so you have to kind of release them so that you can be raised up in this weird, not meaningless. And that's the thing that we have to establish with our kids, is that hierarchy that exists there is only going to exist for those 4 years, and then it's gone. So don't place value in that. It's fleeting. You know what I mean? Like it doesn't matter. It's pointless.
Do you guys remember your parents telling you that though?
No.
Because I don't remember that either.
No, that's what I'm saying. Like there was no understanding put on that.
Do you think our parents understood that, where they would explain the social dynamics of school? And it's not, because I think people have to go to school to learn.
Yeah.
My mom just
You're
did
not there for that. You're there to learn.
My mom never went to school.
But that is part of learning.
Right. Think about it. His mom
My
never
mom
even
came
been
from
to school.
Yeah. She came from the third world country, was, from war and stuff. And my dad was so old. I think his class was literally like 50 people.
He taught himself.
Yeah.
Yeah,
50 people, and they were they were
boys.
farmers. Yeah.
But it is true though, because I feel like we're not teaching children how to cope with the social dynamics of society. You know what I mean? And it's very important, because it's shaping them. It is.
Right.
You know what I mean?
It is.
Like, why was it so important for Jake to be cool or to look cool?
Yeah. Somehow he got it in his mind that mattered. You know what I mean?
Right.
And I could have easily thought that too, but for some reason I just didn't. Like for some reason I was more interested in I want to play trumpet. Like I want to play an instrument. I want to I was obsessed with that and video games. You know what I mean? So I didn't care. Like I remember Jake was obsessing over like wanting my mom to buy him champion clothes. Like it's so funny because
it's not popular. Wait 30 years.
Yeah, right. No, it was popular.
It was
popular.
It was.
It just came back now.
Oh, okay.
It just came back. But champion Fila, there was this other brand.
I thought it was like a lesser. You know what? You're right, because when I came, I came 1995.
Right.
1995, it was dead.
Yeah, no, it was dead by then. What I'm talking is like 1991, 1990.
Right.
So Champion was like the shit then, you know what I mean? And there was this other brand called IOU. I just always remember that.
I know.
Jake was obsessed with IOU. He wanted IOU
dude remembers
shirts.
everything.
And my mom was like, I'm not buying you. I think she bought him one IOU shirt, and it was $25, and she lost her shit. You know what I mean?
Right.
For
She
$25.
really felt sorry
you know
for
what I
him.
mean? But
That's when he came to you like, man, we can't pay for this stuff. What are we gonna do, Jake? Let's start a ninja school.
Yeah. No, this is after ninja school, man. This is after all of that.
That's the
do
story
you know about
I
the
love.
ninja school? Oh yeah, we had a ninja school growing up.
You had a ninja school?
Had a ninja
Did
school.
you?
We had a ninja school.
I could have guessed
With
that.
We were the
with
we were
Jake
the
as Kung Fu
senseis.
Jones.
We were the senseis. Me and Jake were the senseis, and we
Because
used
karate chop.
we used to force all of our friends to beat each other up with broomsticks and call it ninja wars, and we used to make them do tests. We used to make them do obstacle course tests and fighting tests, and and anybody who acted up would get expelled. It was just a form of, I don't know. I don't even remember how it all started. It started because it started from the fact that my grandfather on my mom's side, which we had no relationship with at all, he had wanted nothing to do with us, but he was like a 10th degree black belt in karate. So somehow we felt like that licensed us.
I think you all missed that story. I think it said he beat a black guy with a black belt.
No, this is apparently true.
Yeah.
According to all of my family on that side. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
That this dude was, he was some 10th degree black belt in karate.
Jackie Chan.
Yeah.
Near miss, you go down on purpose. Checks in the mail.
But I remember we were literally kids, 6, 7, 8 years old. Right. Junior will tell you. Junior was one of the students. Junior was one of the matter of fact at Jake's wedding.
Junior didn't learn anything though, unfortunately.
No, learned nothing. I remember at Jake's wedding, Junior was the best man,
Yeah, he
and
talked about that.
Junior brought it up in the speech.
Yeah.
About the ninja school. Yo, it was funny.
Ninja school.
But it was, and we were adamant about, no, this is ninjutsu. It's not karate. It's not kung fu.
Ninjutsu.
It's ninjutsu. You're coming to us to learn ninjutsu. Yo,
now, if you want to learn about thighs and breasts, Simone has a school down there. It's called KFC.
But when you're
KFC with Moan,
we grew up watching Karate Kid and American Ninja and Kickboxer, Bloodsport, no retreat, no surrender.
Right. And to be clear, we're not talking about society in terms of judgment, because we're reflecting on the things we did too. Because like you said, we watched all this stuff and was inspired.
Right.
So we understand how it works. We're just questioning. I think that's what people don't understand. Is that we're not doing this to point a finger. We're saying we're questioning the ideas and where does it come from and how does it stay long enough to shape you.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Because you're shaped by that stuff. You're shaped by watching these movies and these shows, and you want to be like that.
You want to do it.
We understand influence, but now we're saying we want to question why.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Right.
So sometimes when we talk, I think people feel like you guys are just antagonists. You just want to say no to everything.
No, it's just about making you think about the things that you just do without thinking.
Right.
You just do them and you just fall in line with these things.
Right.
And don't ever question and think well, why am I doing that?
Right.
What has caused me down that road to want to think that it's important for me to care about these certain things?
That's true.
Because a lot of times it's really not something that you actually care about. It's something that you've learned to care about.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and for me, I did get my parents telling me no, but it was no explanation. It was just don't watch that.
Yeah.
Of course.
That's the devil.
And when you hear that, you're
right.
I have heard the story about devils in the bushes. Where's my flashlight?
Right.
So, it's like you're watching this stuff. You're curious.
And then if you keep hearing that, you're like, the devil again? The devil does everything.
But that's not really explaining everything.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. It just becomes like this boogeyman.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Yeah. And then you're like, I'm not listening to that.
Yeah, no, I was always fascinated with with martial arts, like any boy would. I'm fascinated with it because you're seeing what the human, and of course, you're watching on TV.
Yeah, you're watching Jean-Claude Van Damme do split kicks and beat up 18 guys.
Tonight, Steven Seagal runs down the street.
Right. Steven Seagal is the worst.
He's the best. Have you ever seen Steven Seagal run? It's exciting.
Yo, can you play a clip of that? Bring that up. That's just we'll keep talking about it. But
no, you watched that, and I remember 14 years old. I thought Mortal Kombat was the best movie I've ever seen.
Yeah,
I was so excited.
Went and got the soundtrack and everything.
Shaniqua catches me every now and then watching like stupid movies from the 80s, like those action movies.
Yeah.
And I'm cracking up, and she's like, what is so like? She in her mind, she's like, why is this so funny? I'm like,
because it's so stupid. Yeah,
I took this serious.
You're laughing at how ridiculous it is, and you loved it, right?
I loved it. I believed it.
It's like when you watch Karate Kid now, and you see that crane kick at the end, and you're like, this is the most ridiculous thing I've ever seen.
This just reminds me of our last earlier when we were talking about food, how it was good when we were kids, and now we're older.
Yeah.
And we.
Yeah, that's a good point.
I honestly think that's what happens. Like you start to get exposed to
minds
more
have
things.
been open, yeah.
Yeah, and then you start realizing, okay, like maybe I was a little bit dumber back then. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Right.
Maybe I didn't know.
The one thing I didn't get wrong was music.
Yeah.
I didn't get that wrong.
Okay.
I just knew when I got, because you remember, I didn't grow up with.
There's some music stuff that I wish I never attached myself to. You know, I could say.
I for some reason I knew that I liked like jazz and funk and like, you know what I mean? Like I knew I liked instrumentation.
Too. But I also had that New Kids on the Block tape.
Right.
That and I had the Vanilla Ice tape. I remember banging that. All right, stop. There's Steven Seagal.
I believe he's really a warrior. He's a warrior.
Yo, he's
He can't even run.
He's
right.
one of the most ridiculous.
You know why? Because
characters.
when you were a kid, you saw him in those stupid movies like Mark for Dead. He was breaking arms, and it looks so. You know,
and he's just.
It's terrible.
Yeah, I know.
But
Steven, what was the one who was told the story about Steven Seagal when he was like, "What are you laughing at?"
The description of this video is, so it's titled Steven Seagal Runs Like a Girl, and there's more than what I showed you, but that's enough. But the description is, Steven Seagal doesn't run a lot, presumably because doing so would not be very in keeping with his established lethargic style. Granted, Seagal is a bad MF. Trifle with him and he'll be on you like a flannel. However, all credibility goes straight out the window when he is forced to apprehend a baddie at any speed above a brisk walk.
Oh man!
See what you think.
A baddie.
Wow.
Best thing on YouTube right now, probably.
Dude.
Steven Seagal.
Steven Seagal.
What was the story when the dude was like, he met Steven Seagal and he was like,
oh yeah, Keenan Ivory Wayans. Rob Schneider.
They did that movie together, right?
They did a movie together.
Yeah.
And Rob Schneider tells the story about, this is the phoniness of these guys of the 90s, the egos. Mm-hmm. So the story is Steven Seagal, they were doing this movie in the early 90s. He was a huge star then. So Keenan Ivory Wayans goes to meet him. They're supposed to have a meeting. And he said, I'm sitting around and like 40 minutes go by. I'm like, where's this guy? So he said, finally he emerges from the back of his trailer. And by the way, this trailer was like a palace.
Right.
And he comes out, he's wearing the
the gi.
Yeah, the gi.
Yeah.
And he said, I just read the greatest script ever. He's like, really? Who wrote it? I did. It's like this guy's ego.
Yeah.
That voice. Yeah. That's James' voice for every action.
I gotta recycle these voices.
Every action star.
I did.
But that is how he talks though.
But that's like, we're all part of this. We're all part of this coming of age of mature. Like when you look back and you're like, how do I teach Sophia? I don't want to dash her dreams, but at the same time, I gotta guide her out of this.
Right.
So I'm just like, well, she'll figure it out. You know?
I think it's just a matter of giving them the balance, right? Like you don't want to make them miss out on like falling in love with these things because it's fun at the same time, but it's also you want to give them perspective on it. You know what I mean? Like these dudes are actors. Like if someone came to us and like it would kind of like crush you in a way because you wanted to believe that karate. You know what I mean? But it was like, yo, this is not real. You know what I mean?
Right.
Like you can give them. It's kind of like the Santa Claus thing. We talked about that before, where it's like they can still like participate in the Santa thing, but it's like give them the perspective on what it really is, because once you reveal to them later that you've been lying to them for years, it's gonna fracture something in your relationship.
Yeah,
you know what I mean. It's gonna fracture some of that trust,
right?
And then you wonder why when they're a teenager, they don't want to hear nothing you gotta say, because it's you lie all the time. You know what I mean? That used to affect me with little shit that my mom would lie about. Like, just as a kid, like I remember like later on holding on to like, why would you lie about that? Like certain things she would say just to keep you safe. Like I remember like,
now I'm gonna question everything.
Right.
Nah,
that's him.
It was like that. Yeah, it was like it was like 9/11.
Right.
But
it's the like conspiracy theorist was born.
Because I was always a curious kid, so I would ask questions. Yeah. And I'll be like, the little where the furnace is, where the heat comes out.
I was doing the exact same thing to my mother.
Right. So you open that door and I see the flame come on, and the pilot lights up, and I see this flame and the heat and everything. I'm gonna ask my mom, what's that? Like, what happens? What is that doing? She's like, oh, don't touch that because the house will explode. You know what I mean? Right. And then, or like there's a switch in that room that's like an emergency shut off. I'm like, what happens if, oh, don't touch that. The house will explode. Like she would just make up these like extreme lies because she was afraid that I was going to touch something. Right. And it's like, yo, just be honest with me. Right. Because later on when I would find out what that really is, then I would be like, why would you just lie about that though? Why did it have to be all that? And then I started realizing that like, oh, my mom would just appease me at times. Like I would ask her questions and be like, I would just random stuff, and she would just say yeah, just to shut me up, and never really like.
You needed an explanation.
Yeah, and it was like, then you start realizing, oh, I can't go to you for shit.
So now so now you have a daughter that don't even ask you; she just does it anyway. She's like,
yeah,
because he has his two children are vastly different.
Yes.
It's like the second child is always the one who's like the most curious,
right?
And I think it's just that I don't know why.
Yeah, why?
Because I was definitely, and I was
just
the only
like Jamie.
They're safe. I think they're like, you know what? Someone has come before me.
Right.
Yeah.
Let's go.
Right.
And I think it's part of us. I think the main thing is we don't want to be controlled by our older sibling.
Yeah.
I don't know why.
That's part of it.
When my mom would say Liz is in charge, I'm like, as soon as you get out of here.
No, he hates that too.
Yeah.
No, he hates that. He hates
I don't know why. And I don't know why. It's not that Liz would beat me. And I mean, she did try to boss me around.
Right.
But I don't know why it feels like you just want to do the entire opposite of what,
I don't know. I never felt like I wanted to be the opposite of Jake. I never felt that way.
Yeah.
I don't know what.
Well, maybe because you guys are brothers.
Yeah. I don't know. I just
they
naturally
were close in age too.
Yeah. I would just naturally.
That's why Jake ironed his shirt and Jamie never ironed his. Learned that from his mother right there.
Yeah. Yes, for real.
Jamie, take out something out the hamper. I think I'm good.
Yep. That was me. That was me growing up. Like, not brush my hair.
Yeah.
I'll go to school all disheveled.
Lenny Kravitz, everybody.
Yeah. My trumpet.
Yeah, but I think it's part of kids' nature, but I just feel like I wish if my mom did explain more than my dad.
Right.
My dad would, but my dad's explanation was so long. You're like, I ain't asking this guy nothing. Right. But my mom would explain to me. She would break it down in her way.
She'll go into it at least.
Yeah, at least give me an understanding. But and same thing like what Rachel said. My mom gave me, like when I wanted a dog, she and he was like no. He's like no, and there's no going any further than that.
There's no other explanation. It's just no.
Yeah, but my mom, I was like, please. I was like, Mom, come on, please, and she like broke it down. Okay, fine, you could have it, but you can't use my food, and you have to do this, and you have to do that. And I was like, oh man, like,
sounded like a lot of work at that point.
But I wanted it so bad that I agreed.
Right.
But the good thing is she held me to it. You know, so whenever I didn't do something, she, you know, she would hold me to it. You know, so it did teach me responsibility. You know. And my dad and my mom, obviously, they grew up different. So my mom's side of the family was more into nature and stuff like that than my dad's side was, you know. Yeah. But all of those things kind of shape you and help you make better choices because you're like, all right, I know if I want this thing, I have to do this, you know. Right. You know.
Yeah, man, that's the difference. I think like if you're honest with your kids and you break things down in a more comprehensive way, right, then you establish that relationship where they realize, okay, I can really come to you with stuff.
Yeah. And too, it gives you an opportunity. Like when Sophia comes to me and she's like, I want these shoes, or I want this purse, or I want this shirt. I'm not just gonna say no to her. I want to know, why do you want this? Because I want to know who's influencing her. Because she's telling on herself. Because there comes a time when a kid is like, I want this. Well, why do you want it? Right. You know, somebody, you have to be getting this from somewhere. Right. You know what I mean? And I want to see, like, how are you handling this? Because that all happens to all of us. But how are you handling it? Are you just that girl over there or that boy over there? Like,
someone that you want to impress. Right. And then you think that that's going to give
What's
you
the source of this?
You can build resistance to those situations, though, like from now all the way on up, I think. Like as soon as a little person enters the world, you can start equipping them to like not give a crap about what anybody else thinks about them. And it'll like work in varying degrees. Like there will be some Jakes who go through their time and, you know, things are important to them, but it's not necessarily just a superficial thing. It's something about how you're built. Right. You know what I'm saying? Right. Like you're built this way, he's built a certain other way.
Yeah, that's true. But and you have to be able to see that. Like,
right, you're different.
You know, like a lot of it is nurture, but then some of it is like you kind of come into the world and there's some presets, you know, and then depending on presets. Depending on what happens, you start reacting to things. But I think my parents did a good job in giving me quality over quantity. Right. And even you were speaking about like road trips, like experiences. You can make children care more about time with you than shoes.
That's true.
You can make them. You know what I'm saying?
Exactly.
Like you can provide situations in which they're like, this is what matters to me. And then when they're hit with the other stuff, sometimes it'll matter. Sometimes they'll talk about it. Friends will be important, of course. But there's like core foundational things where at the end of the day, you're like, is disappointing my dad more serious than these shoes? Right. Yes. Like that will be, a foundation for something.
Yeah, good point.
I think like that's way more important than being like, oh, you're 14 and now you care about everything stupid. What are we going to do?
Yeah. And now I have to work 50 hours to get you this.
Like 14-year-olds are they're not fully formed, but they are kind of fully formed. Like once
a lot
you're
of
there,
their personality,
some things are set in stone that, can fluctuate. Yeah. But if you start early.
Yes. No, you're right. I mean, you're absolutely right. I think that, like I said, taking that road trip, and it was one of the eye-opening things for me at this age was how important it is to build those relationships. That's what we do, and we talk to each other, and it's like even for Shaniqua and I, like turn the phone off. Let's just the navigation's on. We're talking, right? And you learn a lot from each other, and I think it's so important. And our child sees that. Because we live in a unique time where technology is important, but they can't be on it all the time. They can't use it all the time. Like,
you can't always be occupied with that and feel like you always have to be engaged with a device when you can engage with people.
Right.
Right.
One of my like earliest memories is like old black and white movies, but like music and like classic art and like film, like all that stuff was important. So in the 90s, my idea of like a romantic, healthy relationship wasn't like the Spice Girls and whatever their boyfriend was at the time, which was like everybody else's. This is hot and cool, and this is what a couple should look like. I was like, no, Fred Astaire, Ginger Rogers. If you're trying to take me out, there better be like tap dancing, flowers, and more.
I want to see Singing in the Rain.
You know what I'm saying? Like, where's the smoke machine?
Right. You're right, though.
But,
you're right.
Like, that's cool. Right. You know what I'm saying? I would much rather have that set up than like, Baby Spice impresses me.
That's another reason why like the 2-parent household of a healthy marriage is important too, because that's a direct example of like when they see a marriage where you guys communicate, you talk, you have a relationship in front of your kids that they can point to and say, okay, this is what a successful relationship looks like. So now I'm not looking for something that I have no idea what it is. That's what my mom's.
And sometimes too, when they see they have that. They may not even notice what their mom and their dad have, but once they see something dysfunctional, they know it's not right because it's not familiar to them.
It looks foreign.
But you're all right, because I remember the first time I took our girl out, I put on a dress shirt, my pants was tucked in, my mom was like, put your belt on, blah blah. And that girl made fun of me.
Spiffy boy.
And that girl made fun of me.
She said, "What? Where are your Timbs at?"
She made fun of me, and that felt weird.
That's when the Timbs come in handy, brother. You ain't know about that.
So I remember that. I remember that first experience and dressing nice, and I put on my little shirt and.
But at the same time, it's like you shouldn't have to try to conform to what.
I didn't.
No, that's what I'm saying. Because we were having this conversation with Kyle last week. I don't know if you saw any of the podcast, but
I saw that one.
So he was talking about. We got into the fact that on his podcast they always make fun of him for when he came to the Freddie show in Alexandria.
Yeah.
He
was dressing. Yeah.
And he brought the date with him, and they always get on him like, "Why would you bring a girl to Freddie Jackson? He's old." You know what I mean? Like, but we were saying but if that's what you're into, you need someone who's kind of gonna fit into that as well. Like, you don't want to be with someone that totally would be like, "Why are you taking me here?" Then it's like, then that shows you like you can't say you shouldn't have taken her there because that messed up the date. Well, then that's good, because that's someone that you shouldn't be with anyway.
Exactly.
You know what I mean?
And that's funny, because I didn't know that when that girl laughed at me because my boy was like, "Come on, man, talk." Like, he was trying to get me to try harder,
right?
And I did, but then once I realized that this girl wanted nothing to do with me, and I was like, okay, and I accept it. I accept that this type of girl isn't for me. You know what I mean?
Right.
And I think sometimes those kind of situations, I realize I don't like those kind of girls.
Right.
I need to not choose what my friends are choosing. I need a girl who understands. Like
more values.
Right. Like, I am who I am.
Right.
This is how I like to dress. This is how I present myself. And if you don't appreciate that, then you're not for me.
Right.
Yeah, I'm okay with that.
Is this the girl that he told you look like DMX?
No, that was another one. He just wanted me to drive him there. This is the girl that told him to ask me to leave because I was making her uncomfortable.
Right. I remember that story.
Right.
Yeah.
She's like, he's making me uncomfortable.
You and your belt.
Yeah. You and your tucked in shirt, sir. I cannot stand to be around you.
Yeah. I realized, I was like, okay.
I want to give a quick shout out in the other chat. My mom said hi to everybody.
Hey.
And also Stan made some choice comments. This is in the Young Lion TV chat. Oh, you saw it already?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. I guess he's commenting on our stories from your KFC day.
KFC mode.
He calls Moon a dirtbag, which is funny because Stan acts like he's totally exempt from these conversations. Like,
all I gotta say is.
White Trash Wednesdays. The let outs, White Trash Wednesdays.
Give me some action.
Give me some action. Oh, Stan, by the way, you're going to have to explain Give Me Some Action to the rest of the band because we talked about that this weekend. I won't get into it on the podcast.
Is he still on there?
If he isn't, he'll see it at some point.
Yeah. That's all I got to say.
Yeah, Give Me Some Action. We will. You're going to have to explain that to the guys because they want to
We'll tell you later.
Yeah. That is a classic story. But
I do think you're right about that. I think if you grew up watching a certain thing, your idea of what that is going to be shaped off of what you see. You know what I mean? So I think I grew up, watching those older movies. So it does make sense because you see that and that's your idea of romance.
Yeah,
it's still made up.
Yeah.
But it's still, you know what I mean?
Yeah. It's still wizardry in a sense,
right?
You know what I mean?
Right.
Because it puts that imagery in your head of
right.
Even the idea, like the fact that romantic music, all of these things came from a certain time period.
Right.
It came out of a certain idea. You know what I mean?
Yeah. No, I've challenged that with Dad, talking to Dad and stuff like that, because my dad he didn't want to hear nothing about like reggae or certain music.
Yeah.
And then I never, because I didn't want to hear it.
Yeah.
But then one day he was listening to Frank Sinatra, "Strangers in the Night," wandering, and I was like,
he's
talking about a one night stand. And my dad was like, "No, it's about the orchestra and the flute. Did you not hear that?" And I'm like, "Strangers in the night, wondering by chance if I glance and touch the thing."
Right. Yeah. It's like
I was like, he's talking about a one night stand,
there's
man.
no difference between just because it got some strings and
it
French
sounds,
horns behind it.
It sounds
That's the thing,
romantic.
though. You know what I mean?
Sounds
That's
more
the-
romantic
That's the
than
thing. The older
reggae.
generation, they try to. This is not music. I was
Yeah.
like, they were talking
just as dirty.
just as dirty.
Yep.
It's just a lot more innuendos. You know what I mean? Or slick
They
words.
couldn't
you know
say
what I
it
mean?
more as direct as they can.
Yeah.
now.
They couldn't. But it was the
still,
same thing.
It was still putting the same ideas in your
Right,
mind.
right.
You know, that it's okay. One night stand is something romantic about
Right,
it. It's
right.
something you want to long for that chance where you run into that stranger and you just want to take them home and then,
Right.
you know what I mean? Like that shit is all fake.
Right,
You know what I mean?
right.
That's just
And it's based on perspective. You know what I mean?
Stan is laughing about our give me some
Oh,
action.
okay.
Yeah, you don't want to talk about that, brother.
Oh, he's still on, huh?
Yeah.
Stand late.
Yeah.
Give me some action.
Where are you? Oh boy.
I don't know this story, so
Yeah.
I can't wait to
Me
hear it.
neither.
yeah.
It's just one of them stories where you know, like when it's so bad that you gotta keep all the lights completely off. And, like no one, you don't want to see
Stan.
nothing. You don't want to see nothing. That's
Stan
one of them.
Golden.
I
that's
got
one
you.
of them
Yo,
stories.
he just made a hound dog sound. Not even like a.
He just said, this man just said, keep all the lights off.
I was talking about to play laser tag, bro. What is you
Like,
talking
like
about?
glassy, like injured.
I was just talking about a horrible game of laser tag. You need all the lights off. You took it somewhere else. Yeah, but it's true, man. Like people want to differentiate,
Right.
you know, those ideas, but
No, same thing.
it's the same thing.
It's the same thing. I mean, you know, every generation does that,
Yeah.
right? But
It goes back, like I was saying, it goes back to even the idea of romantic music didn't exist until like the Renaissance period.
Right,
Like before that, all music, even like the massive orchestras, the classical music, most of that music was considered inspired by God. It was like music for the church.
Right,
You know
right,
what I mean?
right, right.
Like
uplifting.
yeah.
Yeah.
And then it became more romantic and secular after that.
Right.
And it changed. But all of that starts to put in ideas of people's minds. Like you start getting these stories of Romeo and Juliet, and you start, you know, all of these ideas of what romance is and how
Right.
to like what a relationship is. And a lot of times it's not based in reality or what's important. It's
Right.
based in that emotion, that emotional thing that happens when you meet someone, and it just kind of just sits there. So
Yeah.
it doesn't expound on that. So you put all of your value into that, which that could happen, you know, with anyone.
Oh, yeah.
You know what I mean? Even the Romeo and Juliet story, like they don't know if they really were in love. It was an infatuation thing.
Yeah.
They ended up killing themselves before they even knew each other. You know what I
Yeah.
mean?
Right.
If they let them stay together, they probably,
They probably
would
would've
have
got
hated each
divorced,
other in 2
hated each
months.
other.
You know what I mean?
I'm sick of you.
Yeah, get the hell out of here.
Let it play out.
Romeo, wherefore art thou? You don't come home anymore. You sleeping around with all these chicks.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
It's just
Yeah.
they don't let it play through, but they
Right.
keep. It's like The Notebook, you know what I mean? It's like when you really break down these movies, you know, if you really pull aside the emotional attachment to it, if you pull
Right.
aside like the all of the music and the cinematography and the way you're pulled in to feel about it, it's really a story about a chick who didn't want a dude who had to build a house for her so that they could sleep together, and she left the guy. You know what I mean? It's like
And
this,
then it rained.
and then it rains, and then he still has to deal with her crazy ass getting Alzheimer's, and he's sitting and she don't even know who he is anymore. It's like it's just this terrible.
So you're saying this
tragedy.
should be called ungrateful?
Yeah, it should be.
I'm grateful.
Yeah, it's like the Forrest Gump.
Greatest love story of all
Yeah.
time.
Ungrateful.
When you break down the Forrest Gump movie, and
Right.
and everyone loves the Forrest and Jenny relationship, and it's really like
Right.
She's a user.
she's a
She's a
user.
user.
Right.
And she straight up left him with a kid after she died from AIDS, and probably gave it to him.
Right.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? It's like what?
Yep.
Doesn't matter. He's slow.
Yeah.
You know,
It's
like
perspective.
that's how
Right.
I
He's
feel.
a feather in the. But that's the whole wizardry of it. He's a feather in the wind. Nothing matters.
Yeah.
Just follow your feather. Just
Yeah.
coast with life. You know.
The romance thing has definitely been like touted though as happiness. I've heard a lot of people saying that recently.
Yeah.
Like you deserve to be happy.
Right,
When they
right.
talk about relationships.
Yeah.
And I've been like, relationship don't make you happy. Yeah. Just so you know, like if you're going into a relationship saying this is gonna make me happy. This is gonna the person that's gonna make me happy.
Right.
It will crash and burn every time. You can't
but because I think that becomes like, especially for certain women of a certain age, once they have like a certain life established, then the idea is that this is the only piece that I need.
Right.
That's
I deserve happiness. This is the last thing.
So then it's like once I find it, I'm gonna fit that into my life. And that's just going to be the piece that fits into my life. And it doesn't become a like, all right, how can we both be happy together in a relationship? Right. It's just like, no, you're supposed to just enter into my shit and make it fulfilled. Yeah, right. Yeah. Like nothing about me has to change. Just you fit into me. You know what I mean? It's like this false idea of what a relationship is.
I mean, is my wife still watching? Because
I don't know, bro.
Okay. Well, I hope she was, but when we met, that's actually kind of what she did, in a sense.
Right.
I'm, you know, I remember telling you this, but I was out of the nightlife world.
Yeah.
I had quit friends and I had moved on, and I was kind of like, you know, a loner at that time. And when I met her, my wife was a career woman at the time, had her own place. She was doing very well for herself.
The salsa scene.
Yeah. And she was trying to get me to fit.
She was in the salsa scene.
She was trying to get me to
so fast.
She was trying to get me in meet this one, and this is my friend, and we're best friends.
Yeah.
And over this 6-year relationship that we've been in, all of that has changed.
Right.
You know,
because at first it was just about, all right, everything's great for me. I'll insert James into that, and then it's all.
Yeah, once you fit in, you're good.
Right. Yeah.
And I came in and I was like, no.
James came in there throwing grenades and all that shit.
And you know what? It because.
And you know what, Pops?
I fought her dad. But I would say this. Off of that, like even though I showed her that, I was able to learn a lot of things from her too.
Right.
You know what I mean? Like Shaniqua's family, they've taught me a lot, because my family, you know, we're close, we're really close, but we don't share.
Right.
We don't talk.
It's like pulling teeth, bro.
Right? And I've learned with Shaniqua's family, they spend time together, they talk. The birthdays and the celebration and Shaniqua
stuff matters so much.
Yeah. And Shaniqua, like without Shaniqua, I wouldn't really set up vacations and travel, because she's really into that. So as much as I've taught her to like look past friends and these sort of like traveling in time moments where you build up these friendships and they're gone, and the next one and the next one, I've learned how to kind of like give in and be like, okay, you know what, you're right. This doesn't. This
have
is
some experiences,
right,
to connect to, because that is important. Having these shared experiences together, build your relationship. It brings you closer together.
Yeah.
But it was like a give and take thing.
It was a give and take
I
thing.
remember when James, because he used to be like, man, you know, they talking about all this birthday and Christmas stuff. I said, I ain't gonna do that. That ain't me.
My words, brother.
And then a few years later, he's wearing Christmas pajamas.
I said, no, her birthday comes, and he's like, yeah, I got her a helicopter ride around the city. You know what I'm saying? Like,
that man, helicopter rides are cheap, brother. Groupon. Check out the Steven Seagal run.
I said, things have changed around these parts.
Yeah, man.
But nah, it was true. It's like a give and take.
It's a give and
take. There was a lot of
man.
things that she had to.
Right, no, because she gave me that. Like, if she struck, because she was like, nope, you're not trying to change my life, and blah, blah.
Right.
And her aunt, who's a therapist, she really helped us a lot along the way. And I would say this to anybody listening who's single or who is in a relationship, doesn't matter. If you are in one, I would recommend definitely getting counseling.
Like couples counseling.
I think honestly, I resisted that.
Yeah.
I resisted it. And boy, did that work in my favor. I didn't realize that.
He was like, I should have been coming here all along.
By the end of it,
turns out I'm right about everything.
The counselor and I were like, thanks. because you know what it is? When you're arguing with one another, there's either person is trying to maintain high ground.
Yep.
And you're never going to want to see each other's point because you're trying to win.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And you just want to win. And in that shuffle, the point or the balance of making it work is going to get lost.
It gets lost.
You know what I mean?
And you don't get anywhere. It just
You're not going to get
about
anywhere.
We fought and now we got to get over it.
I told him and I told her and I ain't never doing that again.
Yeah.
And I told him. And she going to tell her friends, you going to tell your boys, but you never got anywhere.
Right.
But through couples counseling, I think it gives, number one, that person is neutral. They have no investments and they shouldn't if they're professional.
Right.
And they're able to break that down. You know what I mean? And I think that same couples counseling, if you have a child and you're talking with your wife and your husband and you're able to talk to your wife or your husband or whoever you are about the path of your kid, you're able to be a little neutral, you could see where this thing could fall apart.
Right.
You know what I mean? And the relationships, you can definitely see where it could fall apart because selfishness immediately is exposed. Because the person who is the most passionate and going crazy without thinking, that's usually the person who, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So I'm glad that I was able to I saw what was happening. I resisted at first, but then she was able to teach me, certain things. And I'm like, wow, okay.
Well, that's what a relationship is supposed to be, right?
Henceforth, my Christmas outfit.
Yeah. Oh, that was the funniest one.
Yeah, you know we was clowning.
Oh, that was the funniest one.
You know we was clowning.
See if you can find the Christmas picture of James in the matching outfits.
You ain't gonna find that.
Because this is something that this brother would never do.
Mark my words.
All the Christmas stuff and all the Christmas things that they do. When was it? Last year we seen them in the...
Last year,
You probably did one this year, too.
I got one. I already got it.
Updated 2019.
Yeah.
You know what's funny?
And the back says, F at your time.
You know what's funny? Last year, Juanita bought me Christmas pajamas.
Yeah.
Did I wear them?
You wore it.
No.
He wore it, but he didn't take no pictures.
Nah.
No, I didn't wear them.
You better not. I better not see one picture that's on Facebook, girl. Yeah.
They still brand new.
No, but it is give and take, man. And I think if
It is.
You have to love your wife and you have to love your husband. And I think if you truly love each and you want to succeed, you're gonna open your eyes quicker.
Right.
But if you're stuck on I know everything, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And that's usually what it is.
Right. You can't always think that you have all the answers, right?
No.
Yeah.
And I see the value in it,
Uh-oh.
Well,
She's smiling.
She's browsing.
I don't think it's on my page.
Yeah, James definitely ain't shared that.
Right.
That's gonna be on Shaniqua's page.
Right. Shaniqua Legart.
Yeah.
Legue.
Yeah, Mom was pronouncing it all French earlier. Legue.
Mr. Legue.
Legue.
That's what he would tell the girls.
The
Would you like
rest-
to come back to this KFC room so I can feel your leg?
I heard he was good at MMA.
I had to take him down. But yeah, man, I really do. I do.
Is there any more, Jay?
Nope.
I do.
They're gone.
I do recommend that. I think having a conversation and truly talking to each other,
Yeah.
I think is great, man. But sometimes you do need a mediator. You do need somebody who to set something in balance. You know what I mean?
No, it's true. You need like you said, you need a neutral party.
Yeah.
He's only for it because
Right. If the person,
If it was the other way
counselor
around.
was always against him, he'd be
Well,
like, "Man,
James.
that's some bullshit. Don't you ever."
Let me tell you something. You guys are damn right. Counseling is illegal. No, I'm kidding. But listen, the other part is her mom, Miss Leggett,
Yeah.
my mother-in-law. Which, let me tell you something. That's like, you know how men say they don't get along with, and that's the opposite from me.
Yeah.
And I think because she respects me, when I went to Texas to meet her, I sat her down and we sat down, we talked, and she didn't go into bed, and we was just saying, and she's like, "So James, what's going on?" I was like, "Well, this is who I am. I want to get married to your daughter." And she respected that.
Yeah.
She's
watched you fulfill all. Those things
she's
that
watched
you
me.
said.
Yeah, she's watched me, and I think that's what men don't understand. Right. The thing is this: if you're a man of honor and you're not a scumbag and you're not trying to F everything that moves, and you're truly an honorable guy, you don't have to fake that.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
You just live up to it.
And you're not afraid of it.
You're not afraid of it.
That was one of the things when I met your mom and dad. Your sister was scared to death.
Yeah.
And they gave me to sit down, and they're like, "What? Your dad? What are your intentions?" And I was like, I mean, I'm only dating her because I want to possibly marry her. You know what I mean? We're trying to see where this goes, and then we started talking about, our beliefs and started talking about the Bible and stuff like that. And it was like, to me, it wasn't a big deal. Like, to me, what I said to her afterwards is like, the fact that they asked me that is something that I respect.
Yeah.
Because if I have a daughter, I'm going to want to know the same thing.
Right.
And anyone that is afraid of that conversation is telling you what their intentions are right there. You know what I mean?
No, it's a welcome thing. And I think that ever since then, her mom and I have always, because I, you know, like you said, I did what I said I was going to do.
Right.
And I maintained that. And I think that's what it is. Just do right.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
If you do right, you ain't got to worry about that kind of stuff. Just do the right thing.
But I think it's this dynamic of like people date without an end. And it's like dating is just to date.
Right.
There's no, it's like, I don't have to date you to marry you. I'm just dating you because I want to date you right now. But who knows? Like, I'm not ready for long-term, like this whole dynamic. Again, the romance idea of like, it's cool to just, you know, sleep around and try out, take them for a test drive, you know?
And sometimes people, honestly, things get sabotaged because you're looking for faults.
Right.
And the smallest thing can throw you. You know what I mean?
Right. Because you're waiting for this perfect package to come around.
Exactly.
There's an artist and singer. Her name is Jude Demarest, and she posted, and she's like fairly young. I think a couple of years younger than me, and is married, has a 1-year-old baby, but posted and said that when she got married, she wasn't into the whole societal, we're going to date for 5 or 6 years, and then after that, we'll see what's up.
See what happens.
Right. She was like, no, I knew that like I wanted a spouse. I knew that I wanted somebody who I could build a life with, who I could marry, and who could watch me grow, and I could watch them grow, and we could start a partnerip together. Like, that's what marriage was to me. And I had never heard like a young person describe marriage in that way before. I was like, oh, Instagram's pretty cool sometimes. Like, I've learned something that I wouldn't have known about you. So that's kind of cool. Yeah.
I knew I wanted that, but I felt like I was in my heart, especially when my mom died. When my mom died, like I wanted that, but then when my mom died, I felt like, man, what's the point of all of this?
Right.
If you're gonna, my mom died at 50. I was like, all of a sudden, I started rationalizing, like, you should just have fun. You should enjoy yourself.
Right.
You know what I mean? Like, if this could happen, I was like, in my mind, I was like, if you could just die at 50, why would you live? You know what I mean?
Right.
Go have fun, enjoy yourself. And I rationalized it out to myself that way. You know, basically making excuses. I was like, yeah, please, I'm just gonna do what I want, and it brought no results. Like, you know. Yeah,
and at the same time, it's like that concept of what enjoying yourself is and having fun. It's like that is a flawed idea already. That's a flawed idea of like, this is fulfilling. You know what I mean? Like, so why would I have a life that's not like, because your mom's life, even though she didn't do all those things, I'm sure it was fulfilling because of the life that she lived with y'all, the way she took care of her family, the things that she's.
I looked at it from the loss perspective. Right. But before that, I was looking, because the girl I was dating before that, I that was like my first girlfriend, and we were trying to build this relationship together. So marriage, I never had the intention, oh, you know what, I'm just gonna sleep around or whatever, just date and have fun. It was always marriage. But right after that, I feel like it was such a big moment in my life, in my family's life, that I lost track of what I needed to do to like refocus myself. Right. You know what I mean? And then all of a sudden, you know, you get sucked into group mentality because they're having fun and I'm not having fun. Right. Maybe I need to do what they do.
Yeah.
You know?
And you feel like you're missing out again.
Feel like you're missing out.
And a lot of that comes back to the movies that are put into your mind from a kid, because I remember growing up and seeing like American Pie and like all of these teenage coming of age movies.
Never seen that movie.
You've never seen it?
It's stupid.
It's a load of bullshit. But it's just like the whole concept of like, we're going to make a pact and we're all going to lose our virginity before we graduate high school. It's like that right there is already putting in the mindset of the young kids that watch it. They're like, this is cool.
Especially boys, especially men, because let's be honest, men are taught that conquest is
right. And you're a loser if you can't do that. Yeah. If you don't lose your virginity before you leave high school, you're a loser. You know what I mean?
You haven't had sex with 40 women and you're 17?
Yeah.
Man, you're a loser.
Right. What's wrong with you? Yeah. You know? And so that becomes automatic brainwashing.
Right.
And then you look at those dudes that live out through college. Now, if you graduate college, now you're 22 years old and you still aren't thinking, nothing about that is thinking stable relationship. It's all just like sleeping around, getting as many women as you can, the dating life, the party life, just frat life with your boys, and like women are just expendable objects, to a notch on your belt. You know what I mean? So then after that, you enter the workforce, and then it becomes about the hierarchy.
Who can I conquer here?
Yeah, it's like the hierarchy just continues to go. Right. So the more it's like as more successful I can get better chicks. I can get the hotter chicks. Right. So then that becomes the competition, and it just becomes this ongoing. Now next thing you know, you're spiraling into this like cycle of just sleeping with random women, and then you're in your 30s, and now you want a wife. You know what I mean? Yeah.
And she could never please you because you're addicted to conquest.
Right, exactly.
You know what I mean? Even though she's giving you all that you want, it's still not enough. Right. Because men don't teach men that, though. Right. Like, you know what I mean? Like
they don't.
I'm glad. Like my dad told me certain things, but he didn't. And to his credit, he didn't understand it per se because we left a certain culture. Yeah. And you know what I mean? Because in Trinidad that happens, but it's not pushed like it is pushed here. Right. You know what I mean? Right. Especially with like hip hop. Take your girl, got your girl, steal your girl. Get every they can never find their own girl for some reason. They always want to steal somebody else's.
They always want someone else's girl.
Right.
Yeah. Because they don't want a girl. Like they don't want a girl. They just want to keep sleeping with them. Yeah. Fletcher Cox.
Yeah. It's like that's the thing. And I think men don't teach other men that conquest, that's all you really get. You'll just get stories to tell other idiots. Yeah. You know what I mean? You're not
literally, that's all you get. And once you're in a, like, put yourself in a group of people that don't care about that, then you just.
I could tell. For me, my measure is when I don't judge per se, but I feel like I could put you in a category, right? Right. Like when I meet men, and the first thing they want to tell me is their athletic conquest and their female conquest. I know. Yep. Right over there. Yep. You know what I mean? Because that's my way of like, I can't, you belong right here. You know what I mean? Right. Like you can't, I wouldn't learn nothing from you. You know what I mean? But that doesn't mean I'm like, I don't look at it the way like, oh man, that guy had an awesome life. Yeah.
Yeah, I didn't do any of that. Yeah.
No.
It becomes sad to you. It's like, when you're around the guy now, especially, I remember in my 20s, even before that, like even in my teenage years, in early 20s, when I would be around dudes that like you can't even have a conversation with them because every girl that walks by, they're like, oh, you see that? Yo. Like,
so anyway, I was talking about Jesus, right?
No, but it's like no matter what you're talking about, it's like every 5 seconds, every girl that walks by, and that used to just annoy the crap out of me. Right. It's like,
I think we're learning now. Like now at 38 years old, I'm learning now that like I've always felt this, and I was never about that, but I'm learning that it's okay to voice a different opinion. Right. Be like, no, I don't want to sleep around. I never was into that, and I'm happy with one woman, and I don't feel the need to. You know what I mean? Right. And then recently, the whole T.I. thing, where T.I. is checking his daughter's hymen, right? And people are like commenting about his invasion of privacy, which it's true, but they're not commenting he's a hypocrite. Yeah, right. You know what I mean?
Yeah. How come no one's talking about that part of it?
Right. It's like, no. This is how you know men understand morality, especially from a God perspective. Right. Because they'll talk all that crap, except when they have a daughter. Right. They have a daughter,
they don't want no one touching their daughter.
No one touches their daughter. Yeah. I thought you didn't understand morality and it was hoes and money.
Right. I got girls all over the globe.
Right.
And let Blue Ivy come back with some dude singing some song like that, and she's one of them. You know what I mean? No. Like, come on.
Right. You think Steve Harvey is happy that his daughter's dating Future? Yeah. But that's the whole thing. Is like I feel like men don't talk to other men to explain. Like, listen, man, that's not living. Right. You know what I mean? Right. That's a moment you had. That's not living. That's nothing to be, you know what I mean? Yeah. When at the end of your life, it's not going to be all these pictures. There's all the ladies.
But you know what? There's dudes that really do. Like, that's why you see the people that really have a problem with it. It's more about the idea of like proving themselves through this because they always have to take pictures of every girl. They always have to have a record of it so they could show people. You know what I mean? It becomes like more of a like I gotta prove that I could bag all these chicks. You
Patrice
know what I mean?
O'Neal said it
Trophy,
best.
man.
I'm catching fish. You
I'm
know what I
catching
mean?
fish. Yo,
Check it
that's
out.
one of the funniest lines. But even that show is speaking into like what
Why
we're
men
talking
do
about.
it.
Why men do it, but
Yeah.
also how men view like dating women.
Yeah.
Because you remember his whole thing about the woman that you marry is just a fish that jump back in the boat.
Yep.
You know what I mean?
Yep.
Because that's the mentality of a lot of these dudes that end up in these marriages
Yeah.
that it's just a girl that wouldn't go away, basically. You know what I mean? Like it's like you didn't want to really, like in his mind, he says that men aren't built for marriage.
Yeah.
You know, so you end up marrying the fish that just kept jumping back in the boat and like,
Right.
I'm still here.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Right.
Like, and then when you finally like, all right, girl, you made me feel bad. All right, I'm
Right.
gonna marry you. And then 10 years later, she's like, but why you still got a boat? You know what I mean?
Right.
It's like, because you want me to get rid of the thing that I
Right.
used
That's
to
how you
get
met
you.
him.
That's
Right.
how you met me.
Right,
Yeah.
right.
You know.
Right. And I think because we're not saying to young men, that's fulfilling physically, but
Right.
you'll never be, you know what I mean?
There's no fulfilling that.
Right.
It doesn't fulfill you physically.
Right.
It just sends you further and further down that rabbit hole because
Right.
that's something that can never be quenched.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? That
Right.
can never be quenched, especially when you start going down that hole of like threesomes and all that stuff.
Yeah,
like
yeah.
it's just never going to be quenched.
Yeah.
It's very much about like confidence and like needing connection
Yeah.
and needing love.
Right.
Like I would sit at the bar and I would see the group of like 3 22-year-old guys, right, who were doing their thing. And then over here I would see their future, the 45-year-old guy
Right.
who was in the club.
Still doing
whose
it.
girlfriend was there, but talking to the owner. And then
Yeah.
he was mad. And then he came back down to my bar and he's probably like about to cry any second. You know,
Yeah.
like I would be
Yeah.
like, this is your future.
Yeah.
Damn.
Like this is your future.
Yeah. Right.
Go home.
Right.
You know,
Yeah.
like
Yeah.
go
Right.
find you some real friends to sit in your house,
Yeah.
talk to each other, drink some wine,
Yeah.
build some connections.
Right.
Like stop it. Get out of here.
Yeah.
Yeah, there's
That.
nothing fulfilling about that.
I used to see it too, like my little short stint in the club world. And I know you've seen it too. Like it was like the dudes that go there to meet these chicks at the club, and then the girls that are there to meet guys at the club. Like that
Right.
shit never ends well.
No.
It's always like this toxic environment,
Right.
and the girls are not really there because they want something serious. The guys aren't there because they want something serious.
Right.
So it's like all
It's
your
just games.
it's just a whole bunch of games.
Yeah, yeah.
And then you just see the drama of like someone accidentally gets one of them pregnant. Now their life is miserable.
And the reality is everybody wants something serious. Everybody just like needs
Yeah.
a hug. Like
Yeah.
for real, for real. You
That's
know what
the
I'm saying? Like if
reality
you
of it.
trace it
Yeah.
back, like we're all very much lacking human connection.
Yeah.
And the
Right.
more like cool and hip we get and say that like we don't need human connection. We're out here doing whatever we want and we're having our cell phones and that's all that matters. Like
Right.
that's what I would see constantly, like night after night. And I'm just like, you're not happy. Like,
Right.
I can look in
Yeah.
your eyes and I
You're
can
not
see that
happy.
you're here and the music's pumping, but you ain't happy. Like
Yeah.
Right. And it's the same thing for the mindset of like, well, I'm just going to be a boss then. I'm just going to go and I'm
Yeah.
going to get this shmoney and I'm going to be a
Shmoney.
boss. And everybody's going to be like, yo, that's a boss motherfucker right there. And then it's like you're in your 40s or 50s and you realize nobody cares.
That's an old man.
Yeah.
An
Or an old woman.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
And nobody cares.
Yeah.
And now what do you have? You know what I mean? You got nobody to take care of you, nobody to come to
Yeah.
Thanksgiving,
Nothing.
nobody,
No
you know
kids
what I'm
to love
saying?
you.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And it's like you're
Yeah.
dealing with you're there. You're there with your shmoney. You know what I mean? It's like the
Shmoney.
the very offensive idea of Scrooge McDuck swimming in the gold. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
Like
yeah.
I never realized how offensive that was because he's clearly a Jew, right? And he's like putting on a bathing suit to just he doesn't want to. He's cheap as hell. He just wants to go swimming in his gold.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Like that is one of the
Wow.
crazy. You ever thought about
Scrooge
that?
McDuck.
That's
Scrooge
crazy.
McDuck.
Yeah.
Like this dude is like one of the richest men on the planet, but
Mick
only so that he can go swimming in his gold. You know
Yeah.
what I mean?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's funny.
But I just wish if like that's part of the problem is that, you know, men and women we listen to each other. Problem we actually pat each other in the back, but we don't actually give each other advice. Like, no, you shouldn't do that.
Yeah.
Like I wish if someone told me, you know what, James, instead of going to the club and investing in these things, save your money and travel.
Yeah,
Travel.
see the world,
See the world, man.
experience things, dude.
You know?
put those white pants back on. Son. They're only gonna get dirty, brother. They're not gonna last you.
Hang up those silk shirts.
You're talking about a young James about 60.
Hey, I wish somebody told me. Listen,
60 pounds lighter.
Yeah,
I had moan abs. You know what I mean? All right.
I wish somebody told me, hey man, those pants are 4 sizes too big for you, brother.
Right.
Put those back.
Right.
I wish somebody told me, like, what are you doing? You know?
Yeah. Why do you braid your hair?
Yeah. Why are you braiding your hair, man? You know, it's just something that you deal with. You're trying to navigate, and this is the other thing is like we talk about it. Our parents didn't know. Like we come from a generation where our parents didn't know. Like this stuff is becoming more prevalent to us because we have more access to information.
That's true.
Yeah.
We've been exposed to more things than they have. We're able to, and we have help. Like you can go on YouTube now and somebody could break down all the aspects of you know the Federal Reserve Bank for you, and now you could be like, damn, that's how shit works. Like they didn't have that.
There's a deeper understanding. But the thing is, so I've been thinking about this lately, right?
Yeah.
You know, our parents, the generation before, we didn't have access to video games and social media.
I did.
Back then as a kid?
Yeah, video games.
I had video games.
I didn't have it.
I had all of them.
Yeah, you guys did. Yeah, you guys did. But I didn't have
Atari.
it. But the thing is, I realized that's lacking today and that was lacking back then. We didn't talk.
Yeah. No, yeah, you're right.
You know what I mean? That's the common denominator.
Yeah.
Because you can still like those things. Excuse me, and develop those social skills to talk and have a conversation, so you know that there's limitation. But our parents back then, like even back then, I'm like, did anybody talk to me? Like, ask me how it's life and like, what do you think? What's your take? I was like, no, not really. You know what I mean? Like even in church, like it wasn't. Your opinion didn't matter, and if you try to explain things or try to break things down, they would immediately stay, get out of there, go over here. You know what I mean?
Children are to be seen, not heard.
Right.
You know what? I have to say that my dad was never like that. My dad was always the type where he from the day we could understand him, he would treat us older than we were. Right. He was always had that mentality where like, I'm going to treat you like the man I want you to be or whatever. You know what I mean? Like sometimes it would be like he would expect too much of us, but it was like, it was a good thing. You know?
Right.
I think I've been guilty of doing that with Sam probably. Like I've definitely like been overheard when he was like 2 years old telling him to like get his life together.
You need to get your life together, Sam.
My best girlfriend, like she came to see us in the hospital and like she picked him up and she's like holding him and everything. He's like a newborn, like born that day. And I'm like, all right, put him down. Like, you're going to spoil him. He's going to be expecting somebody to pick him up and hold him on the time. She was like, he just got here an hour ago. Are you serious? I was like, put him down. It's too much.
Rachel is a nightmare. Rachel ain't playing with these kids out here. Wow. No, but I noticed that with him, and that's why we always had the relationship that we did. Yeah, and that's why I could go there with my dad on certain conversations. He always challenged me.
Except the Democrat-Republican thing.
Well, I never got a chance. Like he died before I even looked into that shit.
Oh,
you know what I mean? Like,
right.
You know what I'm saying?
That's true. That's true. Yeah,
he died before I even really got a chance to. Like I kind of was looking into other things about like the origins of the country and things like that, but I never got as far into the Democratic Party and all the things that I've learned about that.
I remember you used to watch Al Sharpton all the time.
Yeah, he was so into MSNBC and you know, which
so he was open to conversation.
Oh, all the time.
Yeah.
Like we would talk about, you know, my dad was a avid weed smoker, and a lot of times when we lived together, we would just smoke some weed and talk all night about like we pulled the Bible out, talk about like controversial. Yo, this is what we did. We would talk about like
smoking weed.
And we would talk about things that like we saw or things that we thought about that the church don't talk about. You know, like I remember he was breaking down I think it was Genesis 2 or something about like the difference between he believed that there was other people in the earth besides just Adam and Eve.
Oh, the pre-Adamic thing?
No, not pre-Adamic, but there was other people because of the fact that, you know, the story of Adam and Eve doesn't happen till Genesis 2, but before that, God says male and female, you know, be plenty, multiply and fill the earth, and then goes into the story about Eve being made for Adam, which was a separate situation to him, and for the fact that like when Cain killed Abel,
where he his wife.
Huh?
Where did he get his wife?
Where did he get his wife? And not only that, he told God that like if people see me with this mark, they're gonna kill me. And he's like, well,
Who
are those people? You know what I mean? Who are those people that are going to kill him if the only people that exist are his mom and dad and his brother? And, his brother's dead. So it's like, who are those people? You know what I mean?
Right.
So it was just like we would talk about stuff like that. You know what I mean? Which was for someone that
on to Darwinism.
No, but for someone that grew up, my grandfather was a preacher.
Right. No,
you know what I mean?
you,
someone that grew up indoctrinated into the church.
Right.
Like he was more open than a lot of other people
have those
conversations and at least challenge those thoughts. Like not necessarily saying like he had an answer for it, but he would challenge certain things. You know what I mean?
He welcomed that.
Yeah. So we could have those conversations. We talked about the book of Enoch. We talked about the Nephilim, like stuff like that. I could have those conversations with him, and he'd be more open minded to it, than opposed to like someone else who's this like Pat Roberts and what I mean.
Right. I don't think because people are afraid. A lot of times people are afraid to challenge what they were taught because it might shake where they're standing.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It just will. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Especially with politics and religion and race. Those three things are very because.
Well, think about it. You don't even have to go that deep with it. If you talk shit on housewives, they get mad because it's like you're messing up their fun. You know what I'm saying? Like,
it's true.
If you talk shit on Karate Kid, someone's like, "Well, great way to mess up my childhood." It's like
sports.
It's sports. The same thing. I clown people that are too crazy about sports all the time, and they don't like it because it's like you're messing up their fun. But at the same time, I'm trying to show you like, yo, this shit does not matter.
Right.
You know what I mean? Like,
you can be passionate, but you don't have to. You can love it, but you don't have to like.
Don't make it your life. Like, don't let it. If the Eagles had a terrible game on Sunday, game that they should have won, one of the most devastating losses of any team in the history of the NFL. Did you hear the stat on that?
No, I didn't.
Let me drop this bomb on you. So, teams that play a team that's below 5 wins, right, and are up by 2 touchdowns in the second half, are 42-0 in the NFL.
So 42-1.
So now 42-1 because of the Eagles. So it's a historic loss. The first time ever in the NFL that a team played a losing team with 2 wins, up by 2 touchdowns in the second half, and lost the game.
Terrible.
That's how devastating that loss is. So
you're saying they're terrible.
what I'm saying is like, if you go into the next day and can't function and mad at everybody and got an attitude because the Eagles lost to the Dolphins, 2 made up freaking teams. You know what I'm saying? Like 2 made up mascots.
Yep.
Cause your green outfit couldn't beat the baby blue and orange.
I used to serve for a Greek restaurant back in the day, and the owner would always tell me, whatever it was, whether it was social media, something I was upset about, people, whatever. Is that paying your bills?
Yeah.
Is that paying your bills?
Right.
Oh, what is that paying your bills? You're on the phone. Is that paying your bills?
Yeah.
How much? Like, if it's not funding your life, stop it.
Stop it.
Stop it.
I had to tell that to, not going to call them out, but we had some musicians around here that were obsessed with sports like that. And I remember one time we had scheduled a rehearsal, and he was like bitching about the Eagles play and blah, 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 blah. I'm like, yo, are the Eagles giving you money? Like, do you make money from the Eagles? They're making their money playing.
Make yours.
Make yours.
Yeah.
Come here and rehearse. Like, it's not going to end your life. We have to do this at this time. If we could do it at another time, I would let you watch your stupid 3-hour game that's not going to change anything. You know what I mean? Like, but you have to come. But
how come I don't know who you're talking about?
Needless to say, this person didn't last long around here. So, you know what I mean?
Oh, maybe that's
it is what it is. You should know.
Should I?
Because this was a constant thing. Like, a lot of times.
Moon wasn't paying attention.
Yeah. But it's just...
It's like,
Marshmallow.
Shmoney.
He got it. Yeah.
I got it. Yeah, okay.
Yeah. But
I was paying attention.
But how come took you so long to figure it out?
I don't know. He was probably erased it.
Erased it. Erased it.
It's like the Freddie song, right? Erase my number from your thoughts. You got erased from your thoughts.
You've been erased it.
You've been erased it.
Erased it.
Yeah, but yeah, it's why did we get on sports being mattering too much?
I don't know.
You guys were talking about sports, people taking stuff too seriously.
Stuff that doesn't matter, I guess.
Stuff that doesn't matter.
Right.
Yeah. But
it all started with Jamie and his dad smoking weed and reading the Bible.
Reading the Bible. Yo, I remember when I first met your sister, bro, like she used to think that I was just lying about everything, like who I was and like the things I would say. Cause she would call me and I would be at the house. She'd be like, "What are you doing?" "Oh, none. I'm just cooking right now, watching this documentary." What are you watching? Who wrote the Bible? She'd be like, "Stop."
Yeah.
What are you watching? Like, stop. I know you're just like saying, what are you watching? I'm
to
like,
be
no,
fair, most 23-year-olds don't say that.
All right, but that's what I'm saying. To me, it wasn't weird, but to her, it just sounded crazy. Especially like seeing me in the mall and already having a preconceived notion that I'm like someone who's total opposite of that.
Right.
And so like she would call me and ask me, I'm like, "Oh yeah, no, I'm watching the Animal Planet. They're talking about the life of rhinoceroses or something like that."
Right.
And she'd be like, "Yo, why you don't have to try to impress me like no, I'm serious, like that's what I'm watching." Then she was like, "All right, well, what are they talking about?" And I had to prove myself. It was just funny, but like that we would have those. Me and my dad, he knows.
Yeah,
my dad would.
No, I've had some conversations with your dad.
Yeah, my dad was.
We never smoked weed, but
well, you wasn't. You didn't. Go,
I didn't
go around.
I don't think he wanted to present himself that way.
Yeah, because he knew your dad. Him and your dad kind of bonded, and he didn't want. I don't think he wanted your dad to see him like that.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Because he knows he comes from a religious family.
Yeah.
So he doesn't want to. He doesn't want to like. Make other people uncomfortable.
Right.
But to him, it didn't matter. Like he smoked every day.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Right.
So yeah, he was the one that introduced me to weed in the first place, and then like
he had that good stuff.
Yeah. So he, every once in a while we would have a little session and just hang out and talk about life and
channel the ancestors.
Yeah. Channel the ancestors. But yeah. All right, so I think we're good. Anybody else want to talk about anything before we go?
No.
I think this is fun.
We didn't talk about anything we said we were going to talk about. We have to change the topics to this to like whatever we were talking about. Black Friday.
To be edited later.
Yeah. Black Friday.
We always go off on a tangent when I'm here.
Yeah. Well, we kind of this is how it always goes. We let it go where it's going to go.
We wing it.
Yeah, we wing it.
Wing it.
What didn't we say we was gonna name something Wing It? Because that's all we have.
Yeah.
Oh, our restaurant.
Yeah.
Our restaurant's gonna be called Wing It. Because when we cook stuff, that's what we do. Look in the fridge. All right.
Oh, by the way, did you look in anybody's fridge lately?
Anybody? I haven't been over anybody's house.
Come over to my fridge house, please.
Yeah, I gotta look.
His fridge needs some love.
Hey, listen, we should definitely keep a cook soon, you know.
Oh, I gotta tell a story how I dropped the turkey on the floor for Thanksgiving.
We heard about that.
You heard about that?
He fried it afterward, right? So it's okay.
Yeah. No, this was after it was.
Then he
fried.
tried to put the wing.
Come on, player. What are you doing?
So okay, let me.
It kind of wasn't his fault.
It wasn't my fault. It wasn't my fault. Angel Martinez said, "Great show, guys. Thank you, Angel. Make sure you share it and pass it along to other people. We do these great shows every week on Tuesdays, 8:00 to 10. It's a little past.
It's now 11.
It's 10-ish.
Oh boy.
So this is what happened. Okay, so brine the turkey. Man, that brine was good. I had it brining for days. Take it to my mom's house. My mom wants to do Thanksgiving there. Well, Jake wanted to do it there for reasons to not mention. not to mention on here. But so I took the whole fryer over there. Like, I'll just do it over there. First of all, it was so cold. I was using peanut oil. It took forever to heat up the oil. Almost 2 hours, yo.
Damn.
And then at one point, my mom knocked it has one of them safe power cords.
Yeah.
Where if you kick it, it'll so that the oil doesn't splash everywhere. She knocked it off and didn't realize it. So that made it take longer. So now it's like starting to get dark. Everybody's hungry. We gotta wait for this turkey. It's going to take an hour and 15 minutes to fry it. So finally, all the food's ready. So I dropped the turkey in. We're cooking now, ready to go. So timer goes off. I'm like, all right, let me go get it. And I had left. The turkey comes with this metal hook to pull because it's too hot to grab the rack that the turkey's in. So I left the metal hook at home. So I asked my mom, you got anything?
So it is your fault.
Kind of. I couldn't find it. I couldn't find it, and we were rushing. So I was just like, I'll grab something over there to grab it with. So she gives me this wooden thing that I made in 5th grade. Our teacher in 5th grade decided to have like this thing that we would do for our moms for Valentine's Day, where we were going to make this. It's probably very sexist at this point, at this day and age, but we were going to make this thing out of wood where we cut it ourselves, and then we sanded it down, we stained it, and it was an oven rack like thing that you pull the oven rack out and you push it back in with. It was useful. My mom had it all these years. Yeah. And it was useful and it worked, and it was solid wood. So she was like, oh, will this work? You could probably use this. I was like, oh yeah, I forgot about this thing. So it has a hook on it. It's made out of wood, but it's all just one piece of wood. Yeah. Right? So the whole time I'm cooking it, I'm using that to pull it out, put it back in. It's working fine. Yeah. So now the turkey's done. So she gives me the pan. I take it out. Now I'm cooking it outside in her backyard on top of the concrete slab back there. Yeah. Right? Luckily, that thing had just been like cleaned and painted, so it was nice and clean. So you thought. So there's a table in the middle. So I put the pan on the table, and I'm like, all right, pull the turkey out, just put it in the pan, good to go. So pull the turkey out, and it's being held on by the wood thing. And as I'm going to put it in the pan, the wood just snaps. Whoa! It just snapped because it's a 20-pound turkey. And the oil on top of that, and the metal thing on top of that.
And you made the wood in 5th grade.
And I made the wood thing in 5th grade. Right. Just burned the crap weekend at this point. And I dropped it in hot oil, right? Ooh. So I go to, and it snaps the wood thing, and the turkey was just about to be in the pan. So it hits the edge of the pan and the edge of the table and flips over, and the turkey just splats on the concrete.
Right. And you can't catch it because it's hot.
It's too hot. I'm not touching. And when it hit the ground, I'm like, I'm not picking this thing up. Right. So I literally just sat there looking at it like, and
Jamie and the turkey.
Yeah. And they were sitting inside downstairs by the TV. All saw it. So they all saw it right there. So they're looking at me, and I'm like, and so then they come running out, and everyone's laughing. And my mom gives me and Jake some 2 knives to try to pick it up. So we go to try to pick it up, and it just falls apart, and we just start grabbing pieces and put it in there. But it was still good though.
Right. I bet I ate
it. Wasn't nobody not eating that turkey. Right.
So Jake is sick this weekend, but we're gonna blame the weather on that one.
They're both shellac.
We both got sick.
Jake, the family ate some concrete shellac.
No one else got sick. So
the turkey wasn't
your mom
brown.
had some sinuses. I just talked to her.
That was before.
Okay.
Jake got sick before Thanksgiving. Remember?
Oh yeah, that's right. Yeah, I still would have ate it.
Yeah, please.
You know,
Jake claims that he tasted some pavement, but I was like, please.
He would say that.
Yeah, he would.
I'd taste pavement.
Yeah.
How does he know what pavement tastes like?
Yeah. Well, it was good though. That turkey was good, man.
Yeah. I gotta. You said you put buttermilk in it.
Yeah, in the brine. I put buttermilk in the brine.
Yeah, man.
Because I was thinking about that. People put buttermilk when you fry chicken.
Yeah.
And it makes it more tender. So I was like, and Jake said it came out more moist this time than the last time. So I think it might have had to do with the buttermilk. All right. Yeah, you know.
Yeah.
But anyway, thank you guys for watching.
Thank y'all.
Yeah. Angel said 5-second rule.
Yeah.
That's right, Angel.
That was more like a 2-minute rule. That turkey sat there for a little bit. It was too hot, but we still ate it. Hey, guys, we appreciate you guys for watching. Make sure you, again, share, like, thumbs up, subscribe if you're on YouTube, all that good stuff. We'll be back next Tuesday to talk to you guys again. We don't know what we're going to be talking about, but it will be fun. Yeah. And make sure you go to Patreon, patreon.com/YoungLionTV. Become a member. We're gonna set up some new tiers on there too. But for right now, you can become a member for $5 a month. and you will be supporting the podcast, and also you'll get access to some special things that a lot of people don't have access to. And you can donate also if you just want to throw a couple dollars to the Lions, throw some meat to the Lions. You know what I mean? Feed the Lions a little bit.
I like.
And yeah, also Jatan.com to get merch and get music. All of our stuff is streaming right now. We got new music coming out soon, and you can catch us on December 21st if you're in D.C. D.C. will be at the City Winery in D.C. with Freddie Jackson, and then on the 28th we will be in Chicago at the City Winery there. And New Year's Eve we have a show coming up in Macon, Georgia. I forget what venue that is, but you can check us out at those locations. If you want to see us, make sure you hit up James's page, Mr. Build Right, on Facebook. And if you need any work done, if you need some, you're pretty booked up right now, right?
Yep, till
that
January.
Brother is busy till January. So if you need any work done, you can hit him up and you can get at least some consultation, and he can come check out your what you need. This brother does everything, and his dad is a master woodworker. So just check it out, see some of their work, and make sure you support everybody. Support the Young Lions. We appreciate you guys. We'll see you next week, and we're out of here.
Young Lion, go live, yeah. Young Lion, you rich, yeah. This king